Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming to the second of our quarterly general meetings. It's sort of QGM. It was sort of identified a little while ago that we need to get better at communicating stuff to the members. So this is an attempt at that. There's been a lot of really cool stuff happen at the space since the last meeting. And I'm really happy with a lot of progress and a lot of projects that have gone on. So first, just start with thanking everyone for coming, and with acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting, which unfortunately we don't actually have minutes of the previous meeting because we thought we were recording it, but it came out the audio was garbage, so it's completely useless.
But we've got actions.
But we have some actions. Some of them have not been completed. The first one was that we were supposed to go and visit some other Hackspaces and see what other Hackspaces, how they've solved some of the problems that we've come up against, where we share some common ground, different sort of approaches to how to do things. I think it's important that we understand that we're a little bit different to every other Hackspace, and every other Hackspace is a little bit different to every other Hackspace. It's just everybody that does one of these things sort of comes up with a way to solve their unique problems as they come up. There's no one formula for starting one of these things, and that's okay. That's a good thing. But it's good that I think that we should try and understand how other people have solved the sort of problems that we're coming into.
Through with Benji, the Southampton approach and philosophy by a lot of detail.
Yeah, but I don't know where that is written down. I think that's in people's heads more than anything.
Didn't really lead to anything because they have a different philosophy than us.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of different philosophies around the country and around the world about how this sort of organization should exist. And I don't think that...
What is a Hackspace?
What is a Hackspace? Exactly, that's a big question. We don't really know. I mean, what's the difference between somebody's backyard when they get their buddies round to wrench on their ride or whatever? What's the difference between a Hackspace and a tech shop, where people pay money to a business that maintains tools for them to come and use for defined amounts of time? It's in that sort of gray area in between those two things, where there's a community aspect where all you guys come down and get together and work on different projects, but there's also responsibility on the people who organize the Hackspace to make sure that there's a roof, to make sure that some of the tools are in good working order, all that sort of stuff. So what that was what the first sort of goal of going to other Hackspaces and finding out how they do things was. We still haven't done that. I don't know if, besides Barnaby's encounter with the Southampton people and various chats that we've had at maker fairs and model exhibitions and stuff like that, I haven't been to any Hackspaces really in England.
We on a tour, didn't we?
Yeah, we were supposed to go on a tour. We haven't arranged that yet. It's been sort of time constraints. One thing I will say is that we do have a fairly interesting reputation. I was with Jude from the rocket, from the balloon launch thing just recently, and he's London Hackspace thing, and lots of different places, and he does say that Reading Hackspace, yeah, it's small and they're in Reading, but they've got really great facilities, and I think that's right. So we need to really concentrate on what makes us awesome, which is the tools and the facilities that we have, the community that we've built, and the awesome projects that we can do. So more good stuff from there. So next action point from the previous minutes, previous meeting, was to get some more info from Seamus and post it on the list. Now Seamus was a guy who wants to help us get funding. He wants to help us sort of get funding from those sorts of agencies that give funding out to people who get it as a full-time job. So a lot of places you have to go. You have to be a 9-to-5 fundraising person for a well-established sort of body that can afford to have someone go to these meetings during business hours. Now, I think most people here probably work a 9-to-5, or something stops them from being able to consistently attend those sorts of things. So that's where Seamus came in, and he's also well experienced in fundraising. So he was sort of trying to get involved with helping us get some extra money. But we did post more information on the list about it. That was the action. But there hasn't really been much development. There has a bit.
That's a bit.
I mean,
So-
Simon and I sat down with Seamus to discuss sort of the sort of ideas behind what
He needed a
sort of
list.
things we need to do.
He needed a list of things.
And that
to
was
go
it.
After, and he needed those things to have values on, and that's only just happened. That was the thing that eventually mutated into that Google spreadsheet that you set up in.
Yeah.
So he's got access to that now, but the last couple of months are a terrible time of year for fundraising.
Yeah.
But the next couple of months are as companies try and dump their tax bills into charitable donations.
Yeah.
So he's not given up, but he's only just really got the stuff he wants to go on to.
Exactly. So we do have a list of things that we want. There was some contention about whether that was done in the right way, and there was some contention about what should be on that list and what should be a list of things that the Hackspace just buys. And I think it's sort of more it's got to be fluid. It's subtle sort of things happen, and it's tricky. That's tricky. I admit that that's definitely a difficult thing to do, but I think we can figure out a way to manage that. That's something that we should talk about tonight. But the action for last time: get info from Seamus, post it on the list.
Should I put a thing in for that later?
What we need to do is concentrate on getting that wish list right, so that he's got something to work with. Because he's not a member, he doesn't know how we work or what we need. He can't just intuitively go out and make these decisions. So he needs to be supported by everybody here to sort of give him the information of what sort of stuff we want him to go out and ask for. So that's that. Ryan will buy more safety gear. Directly after that meeting, I purchased 10 safety goggles, some handful of stuff. So that sort of is done, but we've had some more thoughts about that. I want to elaborate on that a little bit tonight. So basically, what we sort of chatted about it, and we had an idea to issue any member who wants it with a personal set of safety equipment. So glasses, ear defenders, gloves, that sort of stuff. So that they can, because the thing is, sharing safety glasses around the workplace, around the workshop, is a bad idea. Leads to, you can get eye infections really easily from it. Conjunctivitis goes like wildfire as soon as anybody shares safety glasses. So we should just stop doing that. We could do something cool with, the laser cutter. We could put on people's names and our logo so that they're their pair and they get some ownership of it. We could issue lab coats to people, with their first month's membership, that sort of thing. I think would be really interesting because it sort of solidifies that person's relationship with the Hackspace. You've paid in some money. Not only do you get a key for the door, here, have some things that will help you work safely around the place. It's just an idea. I haven't costed it out yet. I wanted to talk about it with you guys and see what you think. So, yeah, we'll open that one. Yeah?
Well, just one thing. Our company does a lot of ordering with Arco.
Okay.
And they've now opened up that we can personally get trade prices at Arco Safety.
Brilliant. And they do brilliant stuff.
Yeah. So potentially you can give me a shopping list and I could get it priced for the trade price and get it.
That would be great. Thank you very much. Please follow up with us about that after the meeting. So I think it's important that we show willing and make sure that everybody who wants to do anything here is suitably equipped to do it safely. So yeah.
Well, to modulate that, you have quite a high number of people who sign on and then don't.
That's very true.
It's long-term members.
That's very true.
We have some turnover now.
Yep.
And we have a lot of people that never use
That sort of
the
tool.
sort of stuff that needs hardware.
Well, we were thinking it could be on request.
That was what I
So
was
rather
thinking.
than
Should
a
be on
bag,
request.
It's you have the ability to have each of these things once, and then we keep a stock.
And not just once. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be worried about issuing another set of safety glasses or something like that. But the point is, there's two things. I want to encourage people to use them. I want to encourage people to sort of have a physical manifestation of the Hackspace in their mind. Not just the building, but something that they can keep in their toolbox that's branded and sort of nice. And also, sharing safety glasses around the place is a bad idea. Sharing gloves around the place. If you get some dermatitis or something you can get, it's a bad idea. It's not what people do, whatever.
But
But-
you have to find storage or
Well, maybe not. I would keep my set in my toolbox. Maybe not. I don't know. It's these are all questions that we need to sort of address as part of the
I'll
action
put
in doing
on as
it.
a point for later.
Well, we do have the lockers for short-term storage
Yeah.
downstairs,
Good.
but long-term probably people need to take it away if they're...
Yeah.
You know,
But
one
you
of the
remember
things
to bring
about
it
the
the time you
space is
need
that
it.
you can drop in without having to bring stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and I often, I mean, I most often use the tools downstairs helping somebody out. It's not work I've planned to do that day.
Exactly. So these are all things that we would need to think about and manage somehow. But I think it would be nice. So, right, that was me buying more safety gear. You know, we need to manage as sort of after that came up the discussion about consumable parts. It's really cool that we've got a stock of
Everything.
stuff: nuts, bolts, screws, tape, cable ties, heat shrink, solder wick. You know, the stuff that's laying around the place that we all sort of have a vague idea of where it is and can use it when we get it. But, you know, as with many things, that's not scalable. So what we need to make sure that we can do is purchase consumables, and we're trying to figure out a way to do that. And I think that's sort of financially
started a little
happening
bit.
sort of thing. It
There's-
started rolling.
There's a box downstairs that Ian's provided pillar drill that never has any money put in it by anybody. The idea was we could build money up and then spend that money on things like bandsaw blades and that sort of thing.
And that's important that I think we capture that sort of thing, because you know when big things come, people pledge and big things happen. That's cool. But these day-to-day tick-over sort of things that are nice to have, but so far have been put here literally by accident. Like the fact that we have a stock of the parts that we have on the shelf is because, you know, a lot of it, Pete Wood from RS had a box of crap laying around and said, here, have it. That filled the shelves. You know, the downstairs stuff, it's like, well, I need a bag of this many screws for this project. I better buy 2 bags and leave one behind. That's the way that the consumables are built up around the space. It's natural, it's good, it's sort of ends you up with the things people use, but it's not right that everybody should just be able to take from that. There needs to be some ability for people to give back to that, not from their own pockets if they're not the ones using the parts. So
We like bundle them up into like consumables for electronics for a year or safety gear for a year, and have that as a big pledge item.
sure, but how do we know how much we need? How do we know what parts we need? It's really difficult to do that sort of big spend all at once because you don't know what
Yeah,
to
but we don't
buy.
have to spend it at once necessarily.
We need a
That
budget
could
for
be
it.
a budget for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, that's interesting, right? So
And it's also something that Seamus could say
Help out with.
someone might sponsor
Try it as a
as
point for
safety
later
gear.
to discuss under the
But
facilities
then
things.
if
Yeah.
you try and buy all this stuff up front, then you get to the problem of what to buy and what you're going to use.
Exactly.
Whereas if you go on the, well, I need this for this project, I'll buy a few
I'll
extra.
buy 2 of them and leave
Although I
one
think
here.
That,
Ian's,
that sort of organically creates what to buy.
yeah,
And I
well,
think
that's
a more
that's.
better method of doing it.
I'll put it on as a point.
I think so, and I think that it's. But at the same time, doing that, we end up running out of stuff.
But I think Ian's sort of a place for everything.
Storage
Type
is the
of
other
project
issue.
would identify, so for instance, drill bits. There is a cabinet with drill bits of all different sizes, but
Yep.
all the small ones are not there anymore. So
Great. Yep.
because obviously the small ones tend to get
Broken.
broken.
I'll put it
So
on as a point for later.
there's something that maybe just an audit would be done, because if there's stuff in places, if somebody could just go through and say, look, we need to take, and then do a mass order,
Yeah.
which is easier for delivery than things because it'll be long.
We need to want to know what was supposed to be there.
That's it. The what to buy is the tricky part. Anyways,
Can I just quickly, what do you mean by a big pledge? As in, like, everyone puts in X amount of money, or
Yeah.
just
people put towards a request goes out to the members saying, we would like to buy this for the space, just like for the laser cutter, which I don't think people have finished pledging for yet.
Okay.
I know for certain I haven't, and that's really bad, so I will. But anyways, that's been a reverse pledge, and that's not really great. But whatever. The idea is that you put, someone puts a request on the list saying, I think it would be a good idea to purchase this. However, I don't have enough money to do it, and I wouldn't be the one using it all the time. So that's what a pledge sort of means. Anyways, moving on. There's an action here to ask the group about go cardless and micropayments help. So one thing that I think prevents us from capturing money, getting paid, I for one, I don't carry cash on me a lot of the time. So when I do get cash, it all goes into the pots in the Hackspace for what I've used previously. But that's a shit way to keep track of things, to be honest. That's a really not a great way. And I think I'm probably not the only one. So I think that it would be good if there was some other way to capture that sort of, small transactions that happen all the time without complication, but with, some formality behind it. So Simon found a good payments system that's called Go Cardless that allows you to handle small payments easily. It links in with direct debit on your bank account, and it works. We've got some of our members are paying their membership fees by Go Cardless, and as far as I understand, Simon, it works.
Working really well.
I pay another supplier via Go Cardless and it works.
So, I mean, the sentiment is that Go Cardless works, but what I'd like to get up and running is these micropayments where you can come and say, you've used the laser cutter for 5 minutes, but you don't have change or whatever in your pocket. There should be a way to pay that from your membership.
We started
somehow.
using Go Cardless as a trial to make sure that it worked in principle for
Yeah.
people as members, and it is working, taking membership payments. But what what I need before it can be used for more things is a nice integration. So at the moment, I'm reconciling two systems. Money goes into Go Cardless, and then it comes out and goes into the bank, but it comes into the bank with the fees, with the 1% fee deducted.
Yeah.
Which is fine for the membership stuff because it's only once a month per the 8 or 9 people who are signed up on it. But if there was 400 transactions a month, people using laser cutters and stuff, that would be a nightmare to reconcile. Well, exactly, that's the thinking, but it needs someone who's not me, because I'm not a programmer, to write this system that does it.
Yeah.
I think Barnaby's written a thing that allows us to talk to the cards with an API.
Well, from a usability point of view, it doesn't address your concern, but from a usability point of view, you've got to tell Go Cardless.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be helpful if it linked in with the RFID cards was the initial thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're thinking batch it up, and then at the end of each, maybe every week or every 2 weeks or every month, whatever is due gets collected.
Rather than having to do it as micropayments, what you do is you just basically change the amount that you pay monthly to cover your usage in the last month.
Yeah.
Which Go Cardless can do because it's not a fixed amount, and it's direct debit.
And so that way would basically mean that we kept the micropayments information purely in our members' database. And that the Go Cardless, HSBC,
Exactly, yeah.
0.
Could you use something like Google Wallet linked with the user group? So everyone has to be a member of the Google user group anyway. So if they had a
No.
wallet each,
You don't.
It doesn't
You
work, 'cause
number
it's
one,
variable payments.
not every member is a member of the the Google group. That's another issue separate. Because we make
The first problem is Google shutting down wallets for things like that anyway.
I just read something today that they're opening up micropayments on Gmail.
It must be a different system. The wallet system is being retired.
The good thing about Go Cardless is all you need is a bank account, and I'm pretty sure everyone has a bank account. And, it does just work, and you have the ability to take arbitrary amounts once authorised to. So once a member says, okay, you have direct debit access to the account, then we can then request payment, so that person gets an email saying this much has been collected, which is good.
We need an informal method as well.
We're a long way
don't
from
like
suggesting
money
that
leaving
we're
bank
not going to
accounts.
take
Yes,
cash.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's the other
it's
half
not
of the
instead
equation.
of cash, it's instead of 95% of the cash. That's the
And it's I think it's also instead of not accepting anything but cash. This is the key thing. We don't accept anything but cash and bank transfers for membership at the moment, and we try and reconcile the odd payments that. Yeah,
pretty sure it's empty.
it's empty.
I mean, I've certainly paid for usage by bank transfer. I haven't got two bad squeals from Simon, so that is also possible.
But if
So that's the
everybody
thing,
did, I
when-
think it
when-
would be.
When people pay for things with bank transfer, it's fine, but I have no idea of
Yeah.
reconciling
What it
it
is.
against account codes in the books. That's the difficulty. So we have no idea of knowing why that money's come in.
So what's needed for that? Or is this a discussion for later?
I think we might
probably
have to
could
take this
talk about
offline.
it later. I can quite easily draw out the system as it needs to work, but I just can't build the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe later then we can
If
talk
you do
about
that,
that.
Simon,
We did have someone come along the other week who offers to do some web API coding stuff.
Brilliant.
So
Is
I
that, are we,
just put a request up on the group and
Yeah,
he'll
that'd be
pick
good.
it up. So
Are we in slight danger of reinventing the wheel? Hasn't some other Hackspace already implemented this and like open sourced it in some way?
But that's I don't think they have.
Not that we can find, no.
Not that we can find, and that's one of the things that we'll find out by
Just
visiting other
something to
Hackspaces.
check, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southampton do use go-cardless, but they don't seem to
Not for this, it seems.
do much microphone.
Well, if we integrate it, stick it up and get.
Yeah, then they can take it from
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all you got to remember, what we're doing is not new in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways also we've only been trying to do this for what, 4 years, 5 years now, and before that,
Hackspaces in the UK not much older than that.
that's it. That's exactly right. So it's a new thing. We're trying to do things in what we feel as technical people is the right way, and I'm sure a lot of people have solutions for this problem. But I'm sure a lot of people pay a lot of banks a lot of money for the solutions to this problem. We also would like to avoid doing that, I'm sure, is a goal. Anyways, moving swiftly on. What's
There's
next?
a couple of things that you've already covered, but that's ridiculously minor.
Yeah, Tom was supposed to fix the toilet before he left. Whatever, Tom didn't fix the toilet before he left.
50-50.
It's sort of a teamwork effort of not fixing the toilet. The ownership of areas, I think, that we came up with last time has worked pretty well. I think it's really cool. I think the fact that Ian's managing the elephant downstairs and I'm not really doing anything up here, but in name sort of trying to help manage this room, and Gavin's got that and Simon's got that. We've all been doing things towards making those spaces better, and I think having an owner of each of those areas sort of gives the rest of the membership someone to ask for help or advice when it comes to doing stuff in those rooms, and that's good. It's great.
In that case, could we put up a little sign with a picture of hello,
Contact the
I'm Ryan, I'm responsible for this area. Well, like,
Yeah.
not responsible, but I'm the...
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, please
If something in the Zoom is broken,
ask.
find this face and punch it.
Yep.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
I think we also need to think about putting stuff like that more prominent on the wiki.
And
Yeah.
on the walls as well.
I think we need to tidy up the wiki generally. I think the wiki is due a tidy up, and I think that's the thing that happens is eventually wikis get full of shit and they need a little purge.
Maintenance is.
So that's another action item, is do some maintenance on the wiki. This is an action item from last meeting. It's still an action item. I know it's still an action item because I haven't done my bit, and that's setting a terrible example. But please, if anybody is up for pledging for the laser cutter, put your money where your mouth is. Pay up in the bank account. Let's get it paid for.
Many people said they would.
Many people said they would. Not many people have. Now I know that the survey was put up with the question in a non-committal sort of, if we got a laser cutter, would you pledge? If you were to pledge, how much would you blah blah blah. Right. It's here now. It works real good. Pay up.
What do it cost, by the way?
Sorry?
What do it cost?
The laser cost
About
£4,000
Ooh.
ish. Okay? But we had that covered most of the way in pledges, didn't we? On the survey.
I think that's what's missing, really, that nobody knows what the breakdown of the sponsorship and the cost was.
Right. Well, let's make sure that there's another action item. Make
I'll talk
public
about that later.
and very well known the sponsorship and breakdown of cost for the laser cutter.
Yeah, there's not actually been anything around saying now it's time to pay.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fair
It was
enough.
kind of bought
That's
in
fair
a bit
enough.
of a hurry because it was an eBay auction.
It was there on eBay.
Yeah.
Kick
It really was bought in a bit of a hurry, and it
It
was
was-
Simon calling me like, "Holy crap, this
It-
thing's on here. Buy it now. Should I buy it
Buy
now?"
it now, up for less than an hour. Bargain.
So yeah, and that's the thing is it would have been up for less than an hour. We would have missed the deal, and we would have ended up spending more.
That would
And I think what we got, to be absolutely clear, is as good as anything that we would have chosen to buy for more money.
yeah.
We might have chosen one that fit through the door.
It did. Just needed to redefine the door.
So you create a new door, that's all.
10 points, man. I couldn't believe it. But that's one thing that I want to say was incredible. When I found out that that laser cutter had just moved and it had just happened, I was,
And you had to do it.
and I hadn't had to do it. I was
And
gobsmacked. I was,
almost all of the wall is back where
and
it's
almost all 99.9% of both sides of the wall are back where they came from. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So thank you, honestly, thank you,
Thanks to my sons as well.
and thanks to your sons as well. There's another action item on here that I'm quite fond of, and I think is sort of was started by a good local resident artist guy, but needs to be carried on, and that's find walls and paint the shit. So put up on the walls more of the stuff like the mural that we've got in the light machine room. You know, it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's a bit bland in here, but it is a bit teched out. I really want to reach out to the sort of artist communities and creative people and say, look, this is a space that you can do what you think you need to in. You can make creative things in this place as well as we can make technical things. And that's something that I think we've been a bit thin on the ground in regards.
Be careful about that, because the mural was originally meant to go where the shelving is downstairs. Now, as much as we love artwork, the shelving's a lot more useful.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is, we also need to not be shy about covering up artwork with useful stuff.
Well, cover it.
There was a
We've had that discussion about this mural and decided it wasn't worth it on balance. But
Yeah.
Mr. Laser said he would put the old laser tube up as a trophy on the wall somewhere.
Brilliant.
Where is it?
In the cupboard,
Right.
I think. I hope.
We'll be actually
No
put
idea.
boards up where the artwork's going to go, so that if it does, the system, the place changes,
Move the boards.
we can move the boards. So we
That's a good idea.
Save the art. Then it costs 20 quid or something.
That is
like
good.
the day before.
It's a really good idea.
Oh, right. So actually have a rather like an painting on the wall.
Yeah.
No,
Put up a
something's on the wall, cover it. If you
Yeah.
want to put something on it, it's obviously
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, if you want to paint the wall, put up some boards first that are the size of what you want to paint, and then paint on the boards. That way, if we want to put something else there, we can move the boards.
You do have to be a bit careful, because I suggested maybe some heroes of tech, and one of the suggestions that came up at the time was Ada Lovelace, and there was a huge controversy because there were a lot of people who said that
La 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 la
people
la.
like that
la.
shouldn't be up. So
Look,
if people just stick to
let's do it like what graffiti artists do, right? If something goes on the wall and you don't agree with it, right, paint over it.
I'd say treat the walls like it's a hackspace.
It's a
If you
hackspace.
want something on the wall, hack it on there.
And if you don't,
If you don't, hack
sort it
off.
out.
Can we buy a tin of whiteboard paint?
Yes, you can. To be direct, well volunteered.
Well done.
I don't think whiteboard paint actually works that well. I've used it a couple times, and
Chalkboard paint is awesome.
chalkboard paint, on the other hand, is wicked.
In that case, can we buy a pot of gesso?
Whatever that is.
Okay.
What is it?
It's stuff that you cover a surface with before you paint it with acrylics or oils or something like that.
Great. Yes. Right. Anyways, those are all the actions from the last meeting. So, does anybody else remember anything that we said that we do at the last meeting, but haven't?
It shouldn't be. I hope not. Always
I hope
fucked
damn
it,
not.
right?
We fucked it, really, yeah. So, right, on to the next thing.
Process with the rules.
It's there.
All right.
I thought that was an art installation.
That's the rule.
There is a page of rules on the wiki now.
There is a page of rules on the wiki.
That not just cover your bollock.
Not just cover your balls. There's a lot of
We did talk about rules
white
last
men
time.
in this room.
Yes.
That's interesting. Anyways, sorry.
But
Um,
on that point, we have had increased female representation.
We have. That's very good.
In the last few months, which is
That's very good.
good.
Very good.
Still need more.
Speaking of that, outreach.
One member?
Several.
One is better than none.
At least 3 were in here because on one evening together.
But the point is, right, and this is the point, the fact is, it's bad that we notice that it's happening, because it shouldn't even be a thing, right? We need to do some more outreach, and on that topic, there's some more repair cafes being organized to happen here. There's 3 this year. I can't remember the dates, but it's
They were published.
they're published, they're on the mailing list, and I think it's really good.
May, July, September. Yeah, that's right.
I think it's in the sunnier bit of the year, so we can roll up the door and get the gazebo out and have some outside time. So to be clear, and yeah, I really like the Repair Cafe. I think it's a really good thing that we do get involved in it and make it happen. So please, if you guys can support and come down and help out and fix stuff on the day, please do. Okay.
I did put an item on the agenda to cover the Repair Cafe.
Please.
I have already.
You just done it. Brilliant. Is that it?
It's already there. I mean, I put it there this afternoon.
Good. Well, it's on here as well.
Yeah, I copy pasted off the wiki.
All right. Okay. Good. Have we covered the Repair Cafe? It's happening.
Well,
help out.
I think there's a couple of other things that need to cover on that.
Please.
So, firstly, when we have a Repair Cafe here, there is an enormous job of just tidying everything up to have enough space to have the repair cafe here. Now, my bugbear is that every time I come in to try and use a space, I have to spend the first half an hour clearing all the shit off just to create space to use. And then when I'm finished, I always clear up, but a lot of people don't. So
That's true.
How can we make it so that there is space here so you come in and use space without...
I think moving on to the facilities report section of the meeting, that's an absolutely...
That's my personal bugbear.
It's not your personal
But
bugbear, that is an
facilities, but-
absolutely critical point of contention that we need to sort out, and I don't know how. And I think it's a common problem. It's a common problem in every shared and private workspace that I've ever seen, right? So it happens in people's houses, happens in people's garages, happens in people's backyards, their own sheds, happens at every other Hackspace, right? And I don't know how to fix it. But I think one of the steps that we've made towards fixing it is really important, and it goes back to something we talked about earlier, and that's the ownership of areas. Because I own this room notionally. So that means that I feel, right, I don't know if I could be wrong, but I feel that I have the responsibility to give anybody leaving a mess in here grief. Say, clean it up. I should know about it. Clean it up. Sort your shit out. Get it out. That sort of thing. And that goes the same for Ian downstairs giving me grief about my lasers. And the same goes for Simon in there giving me grief because I haven't finished what I started. And hoovering up the laser and giving people grief for not hoovering the laser cutter. It goes for Gavin out there, people leaving pizza boxes on the couches, that sort of stuff. That's the idea. That was the whole idea, giving sort of responsibility for certain areas to certain people, so that they felt empowered and responsible for those areas in order to give people a kicking when they leave them in a state. So that was the idea, and I think it's sort of improved. I think over the past, I don't know, few months,
It's a lot clearer.
it has sort of cleared up.
It's definitely getting better, but
We need to keep focused on it, and thank you for making sure that we do.
The other aspect is, I think it's wider than just the repair cafe, that there is a large number of other organisations we need to interface with, like, the Bicycle Kitchen. There's the Silvers Workshop, doing a very similar sort of thing over at Jackson's. And then if you've had a look around there, they've got a lot of stuff. They've mainly focused on woodwork type of things, but they've got a lot of tools and equipment and stuff in there.
So what were they called, did you say?
Silvers, they're sort of
Silvers with an R, silvers, as in the metal.
Plural of the colours.
As in silver hair.
It's not a colour, it's a metal.
For the men in shirts.
It is Reading Men Church.
Yeah, and the people down at Green Park, the people down Green Parkway, whatever they're called, Grow, Thames Valley Tech
They're launching
people.
their Grow Lab on.
I still can't get over that name. And you know what, man? We're gonna focus this damn camera seriously.
Mentioned to Mike. Somebody came yesterday who's going to sign up in a couple of weeks on their recommendation.
He emailed me.
This
I
camera
went
just
to
don't
the,
damn focus.
the Internet of Things meetup, which is held there currently, and did a bit of a presentation at that space. And they know that we're involved, so that launches on April the 20th.
So, just for my Canadian friends, when they watch this video, they're launching a Grow Lab on April 20th.
Is that in any way related to the congregation
I'm calling it Growl, but
Fair enough.
Propagation equipment.
Yeah.
Should we not ask?
I know, it's still funny. Anyways, so yes, I absolutely agree. I think we should.
There's cross things. Those are sources of members to us, but also there's it's not just one way. We
Tools and
collaborate
resources.
with we need to cut this or do this or whatever.
Well, it's like Jelly. I mean, we had no involvement with Jelly, and yet they are doing arty crafty stuff. Which is,
we should have more involvement.
Somebody told me the other day saying that they've met you at something, and they had designed a orrery and wanted to come and sign up as a member.
Who?
About it from you to come and cut the cogs for it.
An orrery.
Planet display.
Planets.
Yes,
orbiting thing.
Planets move.
Oh, that sounds wicked.
Yeah, I said, is that okay?
Brilliant. Yeah, really good idea. Yeah. So yes, there are other organisations around that we need to join up
And
with and get with.
South Street Arts Centre was tweeting a bit about some of the things they're doing, which I thought they were just doing sort of plays and stuff, but apparently they're doing a lot more stuff down there now than they used to do. I don't know, but it was involved with South Street Arts Centre.
No idea.
No.
No idea. Thing is I have a lot of trouble with this because I work a full-time job, more than full-time, and then I'm here as much as I can be other than that. So, you know,
You don't have a life outside that.
I've got very limited life outside of that. It's really, you know, I do try and focus as much as I can on this place. So doing the community outreach things and going for tours of other Hackspaces, yeah, it's cool. It's a really great idea. But to be honest, I want this place to work. You know, I want this place to be the best that it can be. So I want, you know, for you guys to go out and help and link with those other community organizations as you do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's really cool that you do it. Keep up the good work, right? That's
the way it works. I'm just very concerned. A lot of the stuff is not getting onto the mailing list.
okay.
I mean, if you want, somewhere has to be like a clearinghouse for these ideas.
Mhm.
As you say, we don't know about a lot of the things that have been mentioned now.
Mm.
You know, some things have come up on the mailing list, some things haven't.
And it's very noisy, the mailing list, anyways.
But if somebody's wants to pick up these things, how are they going to find out about it?
Come to these meetings. Besides that, I take your point absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we're here having a
People
chat.
should, shout more about these opportunities when they come up and
Yeah.
tell more people about them, because unless individuals get involved, they won't happen.
That's it.
But
And then,
we're
I
all
mean,
empowered to go to these things and get them,
Yeah, we're all
involved
empowered,
with
but
them,
we're not
do
there.
it.
I think
Yeah.
that's why I hope for the podcast that if people send me notes, I'll put them on
Yeah.
the thing so people can listen
Just
to
a
them. We can
general
update
membership
people
question.
without having to listen to the thing. So.
absolutely.
Is
Sorry.
there a target or a maximum membership we'd be aiming for?
That's an interesting
Because when
question.
do you get
We
too
did talk
many
about
if you're
this.
too successful? When to get too crowded to get enough room in here? Have we got a number or not?
I don't know if we do. This is the thing, right? It's an interesting topic of conversation.
So
we don't
I
want to.
could advertise it at work, and there's literally thousands of engineers who'd be interested,
Brilliant.
but you could get swamped, and then it's like
Well,
you just never get in here. Or
This is the
something.
thing, right?
That's a nice problem to have.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we'll know it when we see it.
So we
right?
just must have to have a waiting list, I guess, for membership at that point. Or
Or
something.
start
Well,
a satellite space.
Or start a satellite space.
We'll start another one.
Start another
You
one.
can
Now
afford
this,
a bigger
Or buy
space.
next door.
Okay.
or buy next door.
So it
This
really
the
is
thing.
get the floodgates open if we can.
Get the floodgates open. Tell people. Get people involved in this because the thing is we've talked about this before, and it was sort of a, it was talked about in abstract terms. It was never really put in concrete terms, and I think that's because it's difficult to know
Until you're there. You
until
can't-
we're there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like if I'm coming down here, every damn time I come down here, I can't do any work because the space is full of people doing work already. Then we need a bigger space, And it's not just me, of course. Anybody coming down here is frustrated by the population of the space growing too much. Well, we sort it out. However, at the same time, we look at the example that, 99% of the time I'm looking on the webcams is empty, right? But whatever.
Ian is always downstairs.
Well, that's true. That's true, actually.
Every time I come.
But besides Ian, a lot of the time during the day it is quite empty. It's definitely more heavily utilized in the evenings because of the way that it is. But the other thing that I wanted to mention was, if we look at, we're talking about how other Hackspaces do things and trying to take examples and inspiration from them. Look at London, right? And London Hackspace is massive. I've heard so much about it. I've never been there. I really want to go and check it out. But they, I think, really did have growing pains. When they got over a certain size, it became unmanageable, right?
When they got to about
800.
800.
800.
They were 300 or so for quite a while. Then they got to 800 quite quickly.
Yeah.
And now they're 13,
They appeared in
1400 or
lots
so.
of national press, and then half of London descended on them and joined up.
Exactly. And now if you look at it, what's happening in London is they're becoming more local Hackspaces. So you've got South London Makerspace, you've got Create Space on the west side.
3 or 4, and
Yeah.
London Hackspace now has, it's a 3-story building. It's massive.
Yeah. And that's brilliant. That's really good for them if that's the way that they want to do it. I don't see us as an organization having the ability or the desire to scale to that level as we are at the moment.
As a population can support it.
I don't think. Well, that's another point. The other half of it is I like the space the way it is. Me personally, I think we've got the right amount of facilities. We've got the right amount of space. We're coming up upon a really nice sweet spot of a number of members, and I think that it's.
Well, there'll be sort of offshoots. You know, there'll be
Yeah.
you know, like there's a Hackspace that's trying to start up in
Surrey, Hampshire.
yeah, there's Surrey, Hampshire, but there's also in what's just up that way,
Oxford?
High Wycombe.
High Wycombe.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think they could easily be
there's,
fine.
you know, they haven't got a space, etc. They're just sort of meeting and talking.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. That's the idea.
That's what will happen. You know,
That's a good thing. That's what I want to see happen. I don't want a monopoly on
At
Hackspaces.
the moment we have too many members, I'd say we use the excess of funds we have at that point to start a satellite space
Sort of thing.
10 miles down the road.
That's the sort of thing that can happen.
Be aware that it could happen. Watch out for when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and
you
deal
can't,
with
you
it
can't
in
plan
advance.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't plan it.
Let's not talk
Because
any
you
more about it
couldn't
until it
find the
happens.
leader.
Come on,
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Make
that's
get
it.
Too busy.
Damn right.
Then we'll
Let's
solve that
yeah.
problem.
Let's talk about it when it happens.
To go back to
Yes,
the
please.
original-
Tell
the
your
original
friends.
question was there a limit to it? So
Yeah, there is, but we don't know what it is yet. Let's find it. Okay.
Try that.
So, right.
We're not
Move.
even really financially viable yet, so.
No,
yeah.
exactly. As we'll find out
Definitely need
soon
more
enough.
members.
Definitely need more members.
When we originally looked at this place, we planned for 100 members to make it viable. Well, that was our target for
Yeah.
this place.
How
For
many members
viability.
have we got?
Come to that.
What's the
How
going
many
right now?
members or how many paying members?
We're coming to that. We're jumping ahead, right? Facilities first. The fun things. Right.
Fun things though.
Fun things first. Let's talk about the nice things, right? How do we buy consumables? Who should buy what? I think we talked about that. What, it's still an open question. How we buy the consumables and who should buy what? I think that's up to the managers of each room. But where the budget for that comes from is still part of this. How do we extract money from people's wallets situation?
To find that in a bit more detail, my thoughts are that there is now a collection box in each room.
Yep.
Can that be the responsibility of the people who have those rooms?
I think that's right. I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah.
And that they then use that. So Simon would use that to replenish the laser gutters or whatever.
Rather than
Sorry?
a targeted fund per room rather than.
Well, but then could request more if they needed it.
That is exactly how it's happening at the moment.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't see it written down anywhere.
It is.
Oh, okay.
It definitely is.
No. Sorry. I think what Richard meant was he doesn't see that the procedure by which it's happening is written down.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay.
Right. What Simon meant, it is written down, is in the transactions are being written down. The procedure by which they come about is not. So we need to define that procedure a little bit better.
Drinks money is spent on
Fairly-
drinks.
It's a fairly obvious thing. I mean, I don't feel I need to ask Gavin to restock the fridge and the cans. It just needs to happen.
Yeah. And I think it's working. I think it's quite good. Even though there's no money in your pot, we need to
That's a different topic.
get people to. Yeah, we need to get people paying for the screws and nuts and bolts and drill bits they break and crap like that.
Yeah. But the other side of it is, it seems impossible to spend money.
It seems impossible to spend money.
So if something comes up on the mailing list of things, yeah, we should definitely get this.
Someone says, "Oh, I've got one of those in my garage. I'll bring it down." on
No,
Wednesday."
but stuff doesn't get bought. Nothing
Okay.
happens. Things don't get bought.
I haven't seen it.
And
Well, no, the doormat.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't realise the consensus had been reached on that. Yeah, I thought camels was still an option.
Nobody seems empowered to actually
Spend money.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the thing. Up until recently, we haven't had any money to spend. So we need to, and that's why this is on the list. How do we decide to spend money on something?
Well, that's what I think you were getting at. That
Yeah.
Camels, because
the
they want
owners
more
of each
efficient
room
than
have
goats,
to
right?
determine and we trust them to make decisions on it.
Okay.
So that, if it's something in there, Simon's said yes, he goes, or someone buys it, Simon buys it, someone he delegates someone to buy it, and it happens.
That's kind of how it is at the moment.
That's kind of how it is
They
at the
just
moment.
fucking do it, right?
Yeah. So is everybody sort of happy with that arrangement? Let's just make it happen more often. Is that what the sentiment is, Richard? Everyone else?
Well, I mean, I
People need to know that they're empowered to spend 20 quid on something for the Hackspace, and that the Hackspace would pay them back for it.
Absolutely.
There's only one word I'd add.
So anybody, you're saying?
I don't know. That's right, precisely.
I mean, I thought
There's
that
no
was
risk there, isn't there?
that was true for the owners of the rooms, but are you saying that should be true for anybody? I don't
I'll have the
know.
room owner of the clearinghouse maybe
You owe me
run
to
it
the pub
past
then,
them.
Richard.
I've spent my time standing in it.
The thing is about people
I don't
buying
have a
money and then
collection
getting
box
money
out
back. there is a logistical challenge.
Sorry guys, there's three discussions going on at the moment. What was that, Simon?
Paul was saying, should anybody be able to spend money and then get money back? In principle, it's a good idea, but there are logistical issues around it, which is why I've now put a cash box in there to keep. The idea is to keep a couple of £100 here for immediately paying someone back for something. But an example was John picked up a saw to replace a saw that was downstairs, and because Ryan's the only person who can pay anybody,
Ryan never carries cash.
And Ryan never carries cash, didn't get paid back for a month and a half, which is alright because he didn't mind. But if that was something bigger,
that would be shit.
That would be an issue. I guess something could maybe.
Well, no, but the thing is, the go-cardless money comes into the Hackspace bank account. I'm the only person that's got the keys for the Hackspace bank account.
There's still only one.
No, but even still then, it's only one bank account, that's the thing. So the payments all come into one place, and they've got to go out from that one place as well. So at the moment, I am the bottleneck, and that's unfortunate, because I'm not very good at that sort of thing. So
I'm thinking around a float was, in the box, is each of the people who've got responsibility for a room have a key for it, and as cash comes in,
give it a pull.
We buffer 200.
What the fucking pizza guy?
That's
The
enough
minutes.
to cover anything that wants to come up, and then we can be a bit more reactive about it.
Ian, then somebody here.
Well, that way as well, the person, room owners,
down this
can be
shit.
the clearinghouse for the ideas of the purchases as well. It has to go through them, and they can give it a sanity check.
Everywhere that is inside the Hackspace has a person responsible for it.
They can.
The puddle is outside. And therefore, right.
How long are we talking about? I'll get that.
Go on, man.
Okay, so
I said it. I figured out which one you meant.
I missed all of that, right? So what's the idea? The people in the room managers of the clearinghouse for the money spending, anybody can come to them with a request for money spending?
Small purchase.
Yeah.
So we buffer 200 in cash in that box. Everyone who's one of the room people has a key. Ian and I have one.
Great. And then we spend money.
So if someone goes off and buys drinks and comes back, we can pay it back for it.
Brilliant. Is that the right thing to do, guys? Does everybody sort of think that will work?
Yeah.
Any particular problem?
Sounds good.
Any particular problem with it?
No.
Anyone? All right. Motion passed. Who should buy what? Everybody just buy everything. Personal safety gear.
Check with the owner of the space.
Yeah. Check ahead. Don't go and spend 50 quid and then come in with some useless bit of junk.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Also, yeah. So personal safety.
£50 on a Picasso. Can I claim that back from the Hackspace?
As long as you hang it here.
Matt?
No.
No.
If you make one though, feel free to donate it.
No. Even that.
Hey.
I like the front door stood up where it is. All right. I don't think the.
I like his squares.
Busting through the who Picasso or Matt's? Oh. Make one. I thought you were talking about getting a real Picasso.
Should take his painting and put it on that wall.
Oh, put your painting on the wall. Don't put a Picasso up there.
Walls.
Yeah, paint the walls, man.
Your Facebook's
Matt,
full of painting.
paint the walls. No. You can't talk to an artist like that, man. Come on, seriously. You need to give him inspiration.
You feel the best result of creative mastermind.
Have a what now?
Don't worry about it. Right, personal safety gear. Let's talk some more about that. So, Barnaby, I take your points on not everybody uses all the tools. We need somewhere to store it. There are problems with the idea. I just think it'd be really nice. I don't want to set a laser engraved safety glasses with my name on them.
Across the lens.
Yeah, just right across the front. Perfect.
It's going to happen eventually.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there not scope to have both? Have a publicly accessible pair of gloves,
Yes.
whatever, and then you can get your own personal...
Yes.
Because that would cover off someone's asking to help on the way.
Should we just take that offline then, and I'll just put a post on the mailing list saying who wants safety gear?
Also, there are disposable.
Yeah.
I think before we can make a decision on it though, we need to know how much it's going to cost.
Right, so I'll come up with costings and put a message on the mailing list and say that per member it's going to cost this much. Who wants it?
That's the issue.
Fine. Okay, I'll do that. No problem. I want to talk a bit about health and safety, right? It's important that we play safely, and it's also important that we stay healthy. Don't eat so much damn pizza. I'm with you. Don't worry. I think the best way to get more safe in this place is for us to do some risk assessments. Look at the tools and the facilities that we've got. Look at the building. Look at what the risks that there are, and try and start reducing them. You know, we had a little walk around, and this is all on the wiki.
And you're not terrified.
under risk. I was terrified before.
Okay, you're now
Right?
worse.
I'm still terrified. My head is now firmly out of the sand. Okay.
It's now in a list.
It's now in a list. So, so the activities and equipment that we need to do some risk assessments on, you know, we walked around, came up with a list. The lathe, the bandsaw, welding kit, casting, laser cutting, working under cars, x-raying stuff, using VDUs, biohazards when we eat too much pizza. So the beans in the fridge. Kosh, so controlled substances, hazardous to health. So the chemical cabinet, high voltage equipment, manual handling, machinery by activity, so 3D printers, milling machines, that sort of stuff. Hot works, lead solder, you know, fumes, that sort of thing.
Poking people in the eye with a
pen.
Pen.
Yep.
That works.
Sharps, knives, scissors, sharp. That's literally next was sharps.
Oh, right, okay.
Trip and slip hazards. We need a fire plan. We need to make sure that the fire exits are clearly marked. You know, how do you know that you can get out both ways from this room? There's no signs. There's compressed gases potentially. You know, we do often work at heights. We've got a workshop full of amazing tools, and it's the reason that people come here. But we need to make sure that they're kept in good nick and safe. And there's a big one on the list, which is electrical safety, and I think it is time soon for some sort of fixed wiring inspection. Now, I don't know whose responsibilities any of these things are, but I do know that if we don't do anything and something bad happens, we're screwed. Now, whether if we do something and something bad happens, we're not screwed, I'm not sure if that follows. But I think it would be nice if we could say to someone, yes, these are the things that we're trying to do.
You've got to show you made a practicable.
We've got to show willing, right? Showing willing, I think, is a big part of what will happen if the HSE comes down on us or anybody else. So,
it is paperwork more than actual safety.
The only thing that I've seen happen was the guy that makes knives. He mentioned that his girlfriend had told.
Hang on, there's two conversations going on, guys.
And he did.
What Paul was just saying is that we need to do some paperwork along with the actual business of making the space safer. I think that we can do them both very easily. I think there's a lot of really easy things that we can do in terms of both paperwork and improvements around the space and tidying up that would lead us to a more safe and tidy and sort of
one
good
thing, not
environment
make
to work.
paperwork in isolation.
Yes.
Have a system that it fits in, so it's reviewed, stored. There's a definitive copy that is the.
This is the risk assessment. Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like you've done this before. Can you help?
I can.
Yeah. Great.
For a lot of the equipment, we have what are called work equipment safety sheets. They're generic, but for certain types of equipment, I'll basically rip them all from work because they're not, and can bring those in.
That'd be really cool.
But we need a digital or physical. Can't speak. Digital or physical repository for them all.
Well, that's it, and I think
document store is not a problem.
The document store is not a problem.
Okay.
We've got a wiki, and I think that's the best. We'll come to
The
this
thing
in a
is,
minute.
people have to know where to find them. You can have the best document set in the world. No one looks
No one
at
knows
it.
where to find it. It's useless.
Filing cabinet with the leopard, exactly.
Exactly. So, yeah, we need to do it. I need some help. Anybody who's got any experience with health and safety, please let me know and let's do it. You know, it's something that I think a lot of people know about, but people are reluctant to do. I'm not sure why. It's really not hard, but we need to get it done. And we've needed to get it done for a long time. We needed it at the Woodley space. You know,
More than we do here.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But we've got some really serious kit right now.
You
And we've
didn't
got
see what that happened. The Woodley space is closed down now, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look what happened. It's such a shame. But what I'm saying is we've got a lot of really serious kit right now. We're growing. We've got more members coming in. And I really don't want anyone to get hurt. It is the biggest fear that I have is that someone will get hurt here. And I know that it's inevitable. It's almost sure that it's going to happen at some point. And I really want to make sure that we're okay. Accidents happen. And I know no one, you know, I know everybody's competent. And I know everybody's like cool with using machines and stuff. You know, it's not, you know, you understand, everybody that's here, I think, understands what their capabilities are and how to work safely. You know, but like you said,
even the best trained lathe operative
accidents happen.
stands a risk of
hurting themselves.
Losing a limb.
Something happens, you can do it. And you know, the two tools downstairs, the lathe, the bandsaw, the circular saw. There's a few tools downstairs that you get no. They're not forgiving at all. They will just chop you up, tear your arm off, rip your hand off, whatever. You know, they will screw you up. And we don't have. We got some good signs up on the lathe now, thanks to, I think it was Andy that put that up, or Richard, I'm not sure. But beyond that, there's no manual available for it. We haven't done a risk assessment for it. You know, it's not ever been sort of thought about and put through its paces. We really need to do that. We need to make sure that that happens.
A thought about the ones that are like you pointed out, the most deadly, as it were, machines.
Perceived to be, anyways.
Perceived to be. That's true. Fair enough. The ones that are the most obvious, like bands or
Yeah.
Is it worth having some sort of like, I know, for instance, at the university workshop is basically you can come in and work on stuff, but you're not allowed to use anything before the technicians have shown you, like, you've shown them that you know how it works. So is it useful to have
something
maybe
like that?
Maybe a few people on each machine who are just like, these people definitely know how to use it. If you want to use it, you need to talk to someone and get them to show you and get them, like, just you know, go through it once so that you.
Well, that goes back to the point of having the sort of room guardian picture and name on the wall as a focal point. Even if they're not going to instruct you, you go to them and say, who can I go to get instruction? I think focal point for each area, for purchasing, for safety, for all sorts.
What's to stop someone walking up to a bandsaw?
Oh, nothing particularly, I think. It's just that
physically instructs or anything.
I don't think so. You could,
No,
you could
there
have
aren't.
that here, but like you could always have something like that. But it's
We're sort of working on it. Well, I'm sort of working on it slowly.
Call access to it, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's even got a name. It's called AC Note. London Hackspace are developing their own. They've got their own sort of thing for it.
Okay, well that's really good. Because then you have someone who's there, essentially the gatekeeper, and just says, okay, this person, at least I'm shown this person like how he or she should use it. If he or she uses it wrong, like
that's up to them.
That's their fault now, essentially. Like, they can just ask me whenever if they're not sure.
Part of it is, though, we need to be clear about the heritage and the sort of pedigree of the tools and stuff that are in the space. We don't have brand new circular saws under warranty. We've got a brand new circular saw under warranty. Everything else is donated out of warranty, secondhand, eBay, Stezo, you know, and no, it's not.
It's essentially, you kind of have to agree that you use it at your own risk, I suppose.
Yeah, hopefully. But the problem is in UK law, you can't limit liability for personal injury or death. You can't. You literally burn the whole contract if you try and do that. So we can't officially say to people, you are responsible for your health and safety in the space. We have a duty of care. And I'm on camera saying this. I don't know what the hell. We have a duty of care.
It doesn't change even if you didn't say it.
No, exactly. We need to make clear.
If you actually look on the HC website, you only have to do, within your ability, the best you can.
Yeah.
As long as you're not an absolute muppet about it. You've covered, and they've got the templates, they've got the guidance.
They do.
It's all there.
And I've linked
all
to
the forms down.
Yeah.
But until we do that, we're not doing the best we can.
No.
But
now
the thing
it's
is,
raised.
if we say, look,
it's out there.
If something happens tomorrow, right, I can turn around and say, at the meeting we had yesterday, we made a list. We had a list of all the stuff. We're trying, right? So even just this bit is steps towards being compliant.
And this isn't the first time you've raised it. I mean, it hasn't been discussed regularly.
Yeah, and we've been making improvements. Exactly.
And it will be part of the members' induction guide.
It needs to be ongoing.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, so looking at as a new member, or maybe ask a new member, what were you told? What did you learn? What did you find on the wiki? What didn't you find?
Yeah.
And then just
Well,
then
I'm a
help
new
clarify.
member. I joined last Wednesday. I'd love to use the laser cutter. I haven't got a clue who to ask, where to go.
It's all on the mailing list. Simon is the person that you need to speak to about it, but it's not as organized as it should be.
Signs on the wall.
Signs on the wall.
We need posters.
With faces.
Maybe that's something you could do, is just write those points down, and we'll make sure that on the wiki there's a pointer, so that, because there is a new members page on the wiki, and so my first question is, yes, have you been able to find the wiki and look on it?
I've been on the wiki and I've looked around it.
Right.
Whether I've gone to the right places or not, whether there's bits of this,
it's a
Because
huge,
you don't know
huge
what you
thing.
don't know.
Exactly.
No,
It's
that's
worth
that's
mentioning
that I'm signposting the wiki and I didn't know there was a new member.
So okay, well there you go. So that's and maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I think we tell most people when they arrive that the main rule is not to be on fire and not
Read the
to
mailing list.
use power equipment if it's going to lock your arm off without somebody there to catch it.
That's got to be the
Actually, I wouldn't want to use a laser cutter without
Someone
someone
around.
showing me how to.
No,
of course, because you're a reasonable person. That's what we rely on at the moment.
Yeah, no,
So you'd be a good
I put something on the wiki, on
Mailing
the
list.
mailing list.
Yeah.
Well, no,
That
but the
said-
wiki and the mailing list, don't get too confused.
No,
the
I'm
wiki is
talking
the
about
sort of
mailing list.
yeah.
I think the problem with the mailing list though is that a lot of information goes on there and then it gets lost
Off the bottom.
amongst the chat.
A week later, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's the only mechanism
Unless
we
you know
have.
it's there.
Well, we need to kind of organise that a bit
Yeah.
into the wiki.
What we should do is transfer the stuff from the Google group onto the
Well,
wiki.
it can't be in the wiki. If somebody wants training on the laser cutter,
Yeah.
we can't put it on the wiki.
No, but we can have a page on the wiki saying go and talk to Simon or
There's-
whatever.
Okay, but they would talk to Simon through
The mailing
the
list.
mailing list.
Yeah.
Which is
So
fine.
if
That's
he's
all
not
fine.
reading the mailing list, it's not working.
Hang on, I tried that. I put a note on there that said, how do I get training to use a laser cutter? No replies. Well, there was one reply that said, I'd like to have training on a laser cutter as well.
I'm sure someone will
From
reply
who
at some
didn't
point.
even remember.
Yeah, this is the thing. The mailing list gets replies from the people who can do things about it when they can do something about it. There's nothing official.
No, of course.
So that's the way that it is at the moment. But it could, I'm sure, be improved by posters on the walls. Because you could look at the laser cutter and say, "Hey, that's the guy. Right, I'll go find
If
him."
you want to use this, email this person, phone
Yeah.
this number, find this space and talk to them.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Absolutely fantastic.
Here's
Brilliant.
a page which is a list of people who are interested in getting training for the laser cutter.
And when it gets to a certain threshold or a certain time elapses,
Sign up
we do
sheet
it.
on the wall
Fine.
in each room.
Yeah.
When you get to 10 people, poof, run a course.
Yeah, perfect. And there is that wider question of how do we get information from the mailing list onto the wiki? Just do it. Someone just needs to do it. You should all have logins for the wiki. If you don't have one, find someone who does and ask them, because I think everybody can make anybody a member.
Yeah, it's only, the sign-up restriction is only there to stop spam.
The sign-up restriction is literally only there because we get
Every human
screwed.
being who wants to post on it can have a wiki account.
Yeah.
Are people happy editing it? Do we need like a workshop again?
Please, I'd love another workshop on editing the wiki because I've forgotten how to do it. I just put.
I get regular complaints from other people that it's difficult.
I actually suggested I put a page up for Repair Cafe on there and told all the people that are not members they're free to go and edit
Sort it
that,
out.
create stuff on that page.
Is there any way that we can fix
Just
this?
to make the safety.
Sorry.
I mean, I think there's one important thing you haven't brought up here, which is we should all call out anyone else who's doing something
Unsafe.
You know,
That's
in a
absolutely right.
non-confrontative way, but you should
Stop them.
You know, clear that that's always the responsibility of it. If,
That-
you know, if someone's doing something, say, "Are you sure you're safe there?" You know.
And
That
it
is
does
actually
say that
happening.
on the wiki.
Does
It
it?
does.
I remember
It does.
reading it.
I wrote it there. I wrote it there recently on the members
That is
page.
actually happening. Because the other day when I asked if there was a router in space, Ryan immediately cropped up and said, "Make sure you're not the only person in the space when you use it."
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So it is happening.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, the if you look on the members page of the wiki, the member induction or whatever the hell it's called at the moment, this is the sort of thing that should be shown to every member when they join, and it's important because it tells people what their rights and their responsibilities are in the space.
Write it next to that. Put a link.
I don't have a pen.
Ben, is it worth running a wiki workshop like every 6 months?
The page is called New Member Procedures.
Just because then we'll always catch people within 6 months.
Just schedule one.
Cool.
Say, there will be
It'll
one
happen
sign
somehow.
up on that. If no one signs up, we don't have to run it.
Yeah. Editing the wiki and requests for sort of improvements to the wiki, I think, are really, really important. So long as those requests get seen by people who know what they're doing, they'll happen. I'm so sure of it because it's really easy to go in and fix the wiki up.
Yes, and don't feel worried about just writing new text on the wiki.
That's all I do.
Someone else will come and edit it later. And similarly, if you see something that's a nice block of text, but needs paragraph, it needs subheadings, And you know what tags are to put headings in.
Sort it out.
API.
Just sort it out. The wiki's really good, right? The wiki. The wiki, I think, is one of the most powerful things that we have at the moment, right? But it's underutilized. We need to make the wiki more utilized. I don't want to have debates about what kind of goddamn wiki to use, right? What color? Don't care. Don't give a damn, right? Use the wiki. Let's make it more prominent because we can capture so much good information on there and expose it to the world, right? I don't know if it's right for everything. Whatever. Let's just put stuff on it. Let's just fill it with content. And if it's wrong, if it should be somewhere else, we'll move it. But it's a hell of a good place to put it for the moment.
I think there's like a kind of step to get over for people. You've got to see it as a work in progress all the time, rather than trying too hard to make it finished thing.
Yeah.
What's the good thing about the wiki is it does have the history, so people can roll back. So
Absolutely. Don't worry about.
Like the TV Run Drupal, which we can't because once it's disappeared, it disappears. So.
Yeah. I mean, the WordPress site should be nice and clean and sort of show, give people who are Googling us up or whatever a nice landing page, right? But the wiki should be full of awesome content.
As awesome as all the wiki is, just a thought that's come to mind, what do we have in the way of backups for the wiki?
No idea. No idea.
Paul,
Hey,
do you
Paul.
remember back in Woodley we said we'd sort that out?
Did you?
I didn't, did you?
Oh.
Luckily I did.
There's an
I've got backups. Nobody else can access them.
As long as if a computer bursts into flames, then we haven't lost 5 years of documentation.
All the servers that are hosted with me are all backed up for a week.
But
Move on.
Next
Okay. So
safety, we need to do it, right? Safety's good. Let's do safety. The new machine room layout. What do you guys think? What do you folks think? Anybody got any opinion about the new layout versus the old layout? Are we doing it right? There. Yes.
The only thing I have is that it would be really nice to have an extraction thing for the actual 3D printer as well. I don't know if we have that at the moment.
Is it necessary?
It really is. Like if you
Is it honestly actually really necessary?
If you want to print ABS is really unhealthy.
I don't have one. Printed in my house. Doesn't stink.
Yeah. Okay. I usually personally
Close the door.
Fair enough. Like you get lots of. It's kind of like having a Bunsen burner or something. You get lots of particles and stuff from
Fair enough.
plastic. And like inhaling plastic is not also.
The laser cutter's way worse.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it does. Yeah, it smells awful. But
It's horrible.
I just know that when I print, luckily we mostly print PLA, which is it's not as much of a problem.
Yeah.
But with if we ever want to print ABS, like it gave me like a really bad headache and like felt like I couldn't breathe properly and stuff just having it at home. So I had to build a little extraction cupboard for it.
Good.
So it's kind of like
there's enough holes in the wall.
Yeah.
On that note,
We'll talk about doing
Hang on.
sending the
Much better than
ducting
not having it.
around.
yeah.
It's much better than not having it. However, the logistics of putting it where it is right now are quite tricky. And making another hole in the wall is not going to fly.
Okay.
On that note, you shouldn't be printing ABS on the Hackspace printers. None of them are designed for it.
Okay. Cool. I'm not saying I haven't done either, but it's just a
Problem solved.
We stock ABS
Yeah.
filament.
Huh?
Huh?
ABS filament in the stock.
We really shouldn't.
Someone has put some ABS filament there.
Because someone's going to put that in the same nozzle that's the PLA in it, and it's going to go horrid.
I think it was you, wasn't it?
Well, I certainly added some. There was already some there.
There was some there that I kept meaning to throw away.
In that case, we should put a big sign on it saying.
More signs. We've had this
Why can't you print
Because we've
every meeting ever. More signs.
Is when I printed PLA
Fuck,
and
man.
ABS
We need
on
some
nozzles,
signs.
and I've seen lots of people have
We've got a
this
sign
problem
fest.
on a machine that's being run by people who are.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's, yeah, so that's the problem really. The machine can cope with it, but we haven't got the practicality to deal with it.
So, Matt, you were saying we shouldn't use ABS on the Hackspace 3D printers because it's not
swapping
that
between them.
easy to use.
It's using both is hard. Using one or the other is
It's
fine.
fine. Okay.
You must change the hot end of the nozzle and all that.
No, you don't. It's just about clearing out all
Yeah, you've got to
the
clean it
previous
properly.
material before you start the new one, which if you don't
Do it.
properly,
It doesn't
you end
take
up
a
with bits
lot.
being left in there. So.
It doesn't take a lot, but it is an extra step.
On top of that shelf right now, mixed in with the PLA. It's Because I don't know
on
what
the
two
small
look like.
machinery,
One sec.
is there
One sec. Right. Mark.
is there actually a mechanism of using the vinyl cutter at the moment? Because the tool chain we had, which was relying completely on a PC that's not there anymore.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
There's a new laptop to go in there to drive the Shapeoko and
If we
the vinyl cutter.
if we can connect it to the laser cutter laptop, I'm sure that would be fine, because it's very unlikely someone's going to want to do laser cutting and vinyl cutting at the same time.
There's a new one to go in there to do the Shapeoko.
Perfectly well on Windows. Does anyone got Windows working reliably?
What needs Windows?
The vinyl cutter.
Does it?
It
doesn't work, does it?
used
I've
Linux before.
only used Linux on it.
I've only ever used Inkscape with ink cut on it.
Yeah, that doesn't work on Windows.
So
No.
Linux laptop then.
So Linux laptop then.
What does
Yeah, the laser cutter needs
Windows.
Windows.
Laser cutter needs Windows.
Okay.
Shapeoko also needs Windows?
For the nice tool chain that goes with it.
Can the Octoprint use run the like
Yes, but it's
No.
Windows or OS.
Unlikely.
only.
Is that all up and running now?
Octoprint.
Nearly.
I'm sure the Octoprint bit works, right?
Uses a local driver.
Or is that fucked now too?
It does work
Yeah.
intermittently.
Show for the laptop sign.
Either the Pi
None of them
or
work.
the SD card is a bit dodgy.
Okay, we get another Pi or another SD
Yeah,
card.
it just might just be that the Pi is not in a case and everything, and it's getting knocked about and pushed around. And
Could be. Okay.
It's definitely a work in
So,
progress.
two things to fix. The vinyl cutter and the Octopi. Octoprint.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the vinyl cutter's getting
None of them work.
Yeah, that's the
No,
problem.
none of them work.
It was going to share with the Shapeoko. No, that needed Windows.
Well, I think it was to share the vinyl cutter with the Shapeoko for the PC, but you're right, it does need Linux. The Shapeoko does need Windows.
Can I redirect everybody to discuss this offline with the manager of that room? Cool.
Do that with virtual
Wine is your saviour.
So anything more about the machine room?
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything they'd like to talk about the light machine room since we've changed it and stuff to fucking great huge laser cutter in it?
Tiny question, follow-up question. In
Please.
that case, ventilation, if I fix it, can we have it?
Not if it involves putting another hole in the wall.
I will
To
put a
run-
hole in the wall. If I
Okay.
figure out a way to do it without putting a hole in the wall.
Run that
ventilation,
ventilation.
basically.
Yes.
In principle, it's a great idea.
Do you want area or
Ow.
Can't you just open a laser cutter in terms of vent?
You could tap the one on the wall underneath the red cutter.
Okay.
I think that's probably
I'll
probably
some
the
point
case.
try and do it if I have time.
TPs for the square section.
It's just nice to have. Makes it more pleasant. Right, it's just not good like long term.
No, I'm sure.
Read in class.
No, ventilation is good. That room needs more ventilation.
That room needs ventilation really bad. I'm going to hand this over to Simon to give the financial report.
Oh, you're actually handing
I'm
over.
actually handing over. There you go. Good luck. Back in a sec. I don't want to hear any of this. It's all horrible.
Okay. It's still flashing. Yeah, it looks like it's still recording. Was it paused the whole time Ryan was going? Okay. Okay, I'm doing it sat down because I need zero. Does anyone have a laptop actually with VGA and then I can show all of this to you easily? Yeah? Yeah, this screen has VGA and I don't have VGA.
I don't have VGA.
Oh, even better because you've got a zero account, haven't you?
I can do it and I've got a zero.
Ah, it's even better. If you're already in zero, that'd be great. That's right. Andrew's laptop. Float top. Do. I'll come around that side. Great, isn't it?
Great.
If you've got a spare.
It's alright. The projector does HDMI, but there's only like a micro nano HDMI connection.
I think we're going to do a presentation on phones. Put that in.
Why not?
Go on
Does the camera VGA or is it a very wide
angle? Thank you. 50 point. So,
How
it's going to be quite high.
high resolution is the camera? Do we want pointing at this?
full HD?
No. It's going to be quite high level. But this is how much money we have in the bank right now, just shy of £5,000, and we paid the rent halfway through the month as usual. So this is our usual. This is our sitting level right now. That is a good figure. This is this up here. This is cash in the bank over time. This here was the purchasing of the laser cutter. This bit, but, that's where we are. It's a gradual increase in the good direction. We have enough in the bank at the moment to pay the rent 4 times over, which is good, and the utilities. If everyone stopped, we've still got rent to pay for 3 months. So that goal is achieved. There's nothing due to come out of that. We get a £600-ish utility bill every quarter, but that's happened fairly recently. We're going to...
Hopefully our new heater will reduce that, because last year we were heating and cooling with horrible electric fans, so hopefully the 600 will come down a smidgen. But I guess we haven't got to the point of getting a bill to find out if it's had any impact yet.
Well, do we know if that bill's going to be right anyway? They read the
going to include...
yeah, they come around with a thing.
Is it hackable?
So this includes January, even though January isn't closed yet, but it's good enough to see. So this, for those who don't know what a P&L looks like normally, this is the each month is a column, and so over here, so over here is July last year, and here is January this year, and this is how each month has fallen. So this line here is the income in that month. This here is the direct costs, so acrylic, purchasing the laser cutter, purchasing drinks for the fridge, that sort of thing. And this is everything else that gets spent, like the rent and utilities and rates and all that jazz. So you can see here the £1,000 a month to Tom for the rent, which is going up to 1,200, is it? 1,200 soon. So we can quite healthily cover that.
March, I think, something like that.
March or May, I think May the 4th.
And then end month, one of the two. And it's due to go up. It was
soon.
So soon.
And the important figure at the bottom is this one, net profit. This is how much. This is for a not-for-profit company, which is what Ready Makerspace is. This is actually called surplus or deficit, depending on which way you go, but this is how much we're rolling each month in surplus. So this is what was left the month we bought the laser cutter after the laser cutter expenditure up here. So as you can see from that, we're quite healthy. What Andrew said earlier was quite right, there has been a dip. So if you look at here, 1400, 1450, nearly 1600, 1720, 1713, 1678, and we're 1550 this month so far on membership. So it has peaked in October and is slowly coming down. Obviously this month's not done yet, but it is for most people. There's a couple of people who seem to pay after an end of month payday that comes in right at the end.
Can we compare that with a figure of member numbers? Do we
not easily, no. That's not tracked in the same way. Barnaby, do you know what the current number of members is? Active cards. We don't have a count of active members, but I recently did a reconciliation last month of. I looked at all the money that's coming in membership versus all of the active cards that Barnaby said are active on the door, and it was something like 50% of the active cards weren't paying, or something like that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're being used, but we have no way at the moment of knowing when someone goes from intentionally not paying because they left to not paying because they have a slip up and therefore they're a member without paying. So it is something to think about.
So that's something we need to sort of...
Yeah, so as part of the go-harders...
It's all part of the same idea. Once we've got a track of who is paying and how they're paying, we can do a circle of reconciliation back against it, and we can know who is paying what and when.
But how many people are paying?
I can't remember. I don't have the spreadsheet with me.
But you don't roughly.
Was it 50, 60?
I can tell you approximately. I can tell you approximately on last month's membership. There should be a list of transactions in here. 58 transactions under membership last month. So,
well, how many cards? About
something like 90.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to discuss. Basically.
Well,
it's not really. Actually, it's not really something that I need to discuss. I think I just need to make everybody aware that what we've been very slack. We've been very slack on turning people's cards off before.
Well, I think we probably should send out some kind of email to ask if they are coming or whether there is an issue. If we get no response or they say they're not coming,
just tidy it up.
Then we give them. I think we have to ask people politely, but give them a target date. And if they don't meet the target date, then they get turned off.
I think it was relaxed.
Yeah.
It's not causing a problem. So even though there's say 30 odd cards that aren't activated, it isn't causing us an issue. But you're right, it's not fair. It's not impeding us from breaking even, but at the same time it is something that's fixing.
I think there's also potential security risk as well.
Yeah.
Well, we still know who these people are. That doesn't really change it. Whether they're paying or not, it's still they are still who they are.
2% smiley.
We're, there's a club, and if you don't pay,
you don't get to play.
Yeah, I'm not defending. I'm just saying it's a financial issue.
They may not be in possession of their cards if they're not members.
Yep.
And they don't have their card, and the card is still active.
Well, then they should have told us, basically.
Yes.
That's something. Can you please make a note? One thing that's not on the members sign-up thing, rights and responsibilities. You have a responsibility to keep hold of your card and inform us immediately if it's lost.
We also have people coming in and using the space who aren't even members.
Really? Like when?
Like in workshops.
I think in workshops that's fairly okay.
As long as they pay for the workshop.
For the workshop every day.
And there is a member.
Non-member fee. I know when we had the quadcopter, there were a couple of people who weren't members who came, and they did pay. They signed their fees, didn't they?
I mean, non-members using the facilities is not strictly cool. Like it's not a good thing. I think we should make sure that people are encouraged by way of you can't use this tool unless you join. To join. But at the same time, if a member wants to do a quick job for one of their buddies, I don't see any problem. Because it's gonna, it brings people into space, it brings people down. And I think
it's potential members if they don't turn into it.
Yeah. So let's just be a bit pragmatic about all of this. And I think we need to be I think it is time for another round of cleaning up the people who are able to access the door. And we'll do that.
Yeah, the last time we did that was when Barnaby wrote the new sign-up system. Just before that,
I think so.
You went through and.
Well, I'm happy. We have done reconciliations more recently than that. The main problem was when we switched to zero, and I had less visibility with the bank statements.
Yeah, sure.
I'm happy as Hackspace treasurer to send out some letters or some emails to these people. If we get a list of the names, I will send them an email, and if we don't get a response within a reasonable period of time, we will just turn their accounts off, turn their cards off.
Brilliant. All right,
That's the best way to make people pay.
So let's take an action to figure out what cards are active on the door but not paid. Send them an email.
So on this, as I said, we're a not-for-profit, and we have £3,000 of profit, as well as nearly £5,000 in the bank.
Please don't use the profit word.
We have £3,000 of surplus. We have £3,000 of surplus. And surplus in a not-for-profit is supposed to be spent. And we want to keep a certain amount of surplus in case shit hits the fan.
We need a contingency fund. But we probably we probably do need to allocate a percentage of that as spendable on new toys, and we need to run something on the groups for suggestions for useful new toys to add to the space, and useful new consumables to add to the space.
And necessary stuff. Yeah. Not just useful, necessary. There are certain things that are necessary for us to have, and we need to just make sure that they get here.
Good.
Good.
Simon?
Yeah.
When is our end of year?
February.
When is our February?
It's happening.
It's happening.
So do we have a tax liability?
No.
My accountant has made the tax liability go away.
But do we want to pay? Do we want to acquire a few things to reduce that surplus?
We don't need to.
We don't need to.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
Apparently.
Brilliant. Well, you'll be on
We
it.
shouldn't have to worry about it. I'm told.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
First time we've had any money in the bank in the last 4 years that we've existed. I can't imagine they're going to worry that we're a little bit over.
Well, it doesn't matter. If there's money there,
we're talking in the wrong terms. I mean, only having 3 months earn-out is weak. It's okay, but
it's pretty sustainable.
We haven't got an excess yet.
We have more than 3 months in the bank at the moment. Not a lot more, but what it does mean is that on an ongoing basis, there is now enough in the bank. Moving forward, there is money to spend.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think we should be looking to reduce the amount of cash.
Not drastic.
Not dramatic.
Not at all.
No. We do have on the old accounts directors' loans as liabilities that we should.
There is. Ryan
There is.
has a
Ryan
director's
has a
loan.
director's loan on there.
I think I should review that with because no, I know. Okay, I don't give a shit. This is starting. This was my dream. I don't. If I couldn't have lit a match to that money, I wouldn't have done this. Right? But what I'm saying is I think we need to review my position because I'm happy to say that I've over time because I haven't paid any membership dues for a long time. So I need to do that as part of this letter. I'm expecting to get one because otherwise the system hasn't worked. Because my card's active on the board.
So your name was on
there is a chunk of liability on the balance sheet that we do need to address.
Yeah.
We may need to address that by possibly paying you back a percentage of it over time, but we can also deduct from that your membership fees, and that may cancel out a serious chunk of this.
I'm hoping that that's the case. So let's figure out a way that makes that happen.
But in any case, what we have to do is show on the balance sheet that loan is reduced and removed as a liability.
Yeah.
Over time. It doesn't have to go in one chunk. It doesn't have to all go this year, but we should aim to get rid of it over.
Yeah.
Take it off the balance sheet.
Well, I think I need to come to an arrangement with you guys to pay that down by way of my backdated membership dues or something like that, and I'm absolutely keen to do that. So let's. I don't know how much a month it'll work out to be, but I'm happy for some number. I'll tell everybody what it is. Ain't gonna be no secrets here. Okay.
It is only £685.
It is only £685.
Yeah.
Just write it off.
Yeah, that's under. Yeah.
Just write it off.
We can divide it back. Figure out what it is.
I thought it was
might owe you guys
on the accounts that was
let's
submitted.
let's take it offline. Let's take it offline. We'll have a look. We'll look at the previous because I don't know if the opening balance
that is it.
There was
all the opening balances in this were based on what was there in the statements and so on, and then in the reported accounts before there was figures that I think Tamar and you estimated, and then they became gospel.
Yeah. So let's.
But now that they're in there, they're in there.
Well, we can look back. And we can look back and have a review and make sure that everything sort of lines up with reality.
Yeah, well, we need to. That's something that Pete will sort next month when he does the accounts. Is
if you
reconcile
need me to
it.
come for a meeting or whatever, bring any detailed documentation. Tell me, I'll be there. Okay.
All right.
So long as it's an evening or a weekend. I can't
Yes.
take time off work.
Caveat.
So yeah. Sorry.
That's it.
That's it.
Anyone questions on these numbers? I can answer them.
One of the things that came at the last meeting was you were going to make a list of the assets if you wanted them insured.
We were. Yeah. We should.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. Good point. Oh no, I remember us talking about that, and wasn't there a question around the fact that the Hackspace owned very little of the stuff that was in the Hackspace?
Yeah, but you've now got the
but we've now got laser cutter. You're right.
You're now having assets. If you
So
want
maybe
them
that's something to look at with insurance.
Do we have insurance at the moment?
Yes.
Can the Hackspace insure things that don't belong to it?
No, you
No,
can't
not
insure
really.
something.
But it can insure the laser cutter.
Yeah.
And anything that's donated to it.
But is it in our interest to keep assets?
The lathes owned by the Hackspace.
It's not a problem.
It's not clear. If they say it is, it is.
Yeah.
Or is it
You can only insure something once. That's all it is.
Probably, yeah, it's probably more owned by the collector insurance on your neighbour's house at the moment. But that can easily be rectified.
Yeah.
The only cut and dry one is that electric saw and the laser cutter, as far as I know.
Yeah, but the electric saw I paid out of my personal account.
You dick.
Well, if you give it to the Hackspace,
because I've just given it to the Hackspace.
Then the Hackspace owns it.
You're protecting yourself.
You knew what my reaction would be to that.
Your face. I love it. I love it.
Dick.
I'm not
Right,
sure
so
maybe
he knows he's not going to do it.
He's turned red. Yes. Holy shit! You turned the same color as the laptop. That's awesome.
The laptop's black.
Look at the
Not on
back.
the outside.
Huh.
It's camouflage.
So yes, does anyone have any questions on these before I give this mic back to Ryan?
Approved. Approved.
This is it in real time. I was going to talk about how we can do something that integrates all of this, but shall I just talk about that at the end with whoever wants to contribute to it?
Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely people who aren't interested, that's for sure.
Later.
All right.
Are there any more questions about the financial stuff? Anybody got any concerns, ideas, anything they want to talk about in regards to that?
What was the thing of you not being happy? What were you not happy with? Apart from like the most members aren't paying, or like a lot of members aren't paying.
What do you mean? Why did I run out of the room?
Yeah.
I had to use the can.
Yeah, I know.
I was,
Like, you did
I was
say
joking. I was
you
joking.
welcome
I was
me
joking.
Because he doesn't like
This is
numbers.
wonderful news. This is excellent news.
You did
it's really
sound
good.
like because before we talked, you sounded a little bit. So okay.
He doesn't like numbers.
So in terms of
I know
these
you were
things that
joking down, but I
are
thought it
coming,
might have been like a real.
like the rent increase, we're going to have probably higher utilities now, we've got some heating.
Yes, I wish there was a nicer way to know what was coming with utilities. Maybe there's some way to use that thing that's gone on the thing downstairs. Yeah.
We've taken our own meter readings, or we've got the magic sensors.
That's what I was going to say. If we can combine those sensors with something that tells us, then I can create a cash flow forecast. And
but you're saying even with those events we're saved?
It should be.
Yeah.
The surplus is currently more than enough. But yeah, we still need to we need to be vigilant. But I think we're okay. And the utility bills should go down, aren't we? We're supposed to be going through some power cuts in this at the moment.
Yeah, but the laser cutter's burning kilowatts of.
It's not on all the time though, Mike. So
Really? That thing, on the other hand, that damn thing, and the water heater. The water heater is good for about 14 kilowatts at last count. Or something like that. It's serious.
Oh yes, Ryan has done an audit of things that use what?
Yeah, I have. And then I built a computer to go on the wall that displays everything, and then the Pi or the SD card fucked itself.
But you
Useless.
have backups, right?
What are you talking about? It was all online. It was all on the interwebs.
Oh, okay.
That's the backup.
The cloud.
The cloud. That's right.
The cloud is
And unfortunately, it rained this morning, so the clouds have gone.
The cloud's empty. Right. What's the agenda?
Yeah,
Shut
shut
What's
it.
next?
I don't know
Come
why I
on.
shut it. That was careless.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what my own name is now.
Fred.
Fred.
Ask group about go cardless and micropayments. Oh.
No, that's not next. That already did.
Yeah, we moved it to there to talk about.
Mañana,
AOB and next meeting.
Huh?
AOB and next meeting.
No.
Oh, did you put something on the wiki? Oh, I copy pasted it earlier.
I'll put it on a couple of days ago.
Well, then something happened.
Simon happened. Downstairs. Everybody, Ian would like to talk something about
Do you want to give Ian the microphone?
Yeah.
Give Ian the microphone. Speaking stick.
Are we there yet?
Huh?
Are we there yet? Sorry. We're kind of famous, so yeah.
I've got a low-tech presentation. Facebook, PowerPoint. I've got several items. First one, I want to turn the whole of the downstairs space into a 3-week shelf. And so, for the moment, yeah.
Guilty.
If you've got stuff downstairs, then label it and tell me what's going to happen to it, right? And when it's going to go. If it's a project in progress, then that's great. But it wants to be a project in progress, a project that you might do next month, week, year. take it away and bring it back when you do. That's storage. So I'm gonna.
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm aiming to get a clear space in there. That includes the grey boxes, which I'll at some point dig them all out and open them all up. I've photographed quite a few of them, so I'll put them on the wiki as well. So lay claim to the stuff that's in there, or say, well, that can go, or this must stay. To say this has got to be stored because it's required for the space, then that's great. But I think we've got much more wire stored there than we really need. We could rewire the place about 17 times over, I think.
When you say the grey boxes, you mean the ones that are in this?
The next ones, including the ones in the loo, to try and get them clear to get.
So you say including the storage space and the ones that are out there, not just the ones in the main area.
The one in the main area are the ones I'm most concerned with, but also I thought whilst we're doing the one, do the whole lot, because there's boxes there that people haven't looked in for, apart from me, I think, for months and months. I've been round and looked in everything, nosy bugger.
Nothing's safe here.
Right, for the chemicals cupboard, I have a proposal. That's the big grey chemical cupboard, I think, is more of a liability than a safe store. There's all sorts of stuff all going in there and mixing together in its own evil ways. And it's also a circulation barrier at the moment. I'd like to propose the sort of three ways at it, really. To take the one, to remove the grey cupboard and replace it with something that's shallower, where you can actually see what's in there. And we could keep the existing fume cupboard and put it on the draining board. It does fit there, but that would limit the use of the draining board. We could take the existing fume cupboard and put it on the draining board and make some sort of mechanism to lift it up and down. So we've got a draining board and an up and down fume cupboard. Or, I think it was Ryan's suggestion, just turn the whole of that sink box into a fume cupboard. Like a classic mahogany one, you know, with the slidey down front. Yeah, so
that was actually the original idea for that framework.
Was
that
it?
Installed there, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
what the frame
expect
is
that.
for.
But I don't mind hacking that. I've done a sort of wee sketch today of the space to put some.
Yeah.
But now nobody else can see it.
and everybody else, especially me, because I'm curious.
With
so it's a chemical store underneath.
with a chemical store underneath for the nastiest stuff, and then some other storage up at the top, and a thing to stand on so that you're not doing like this. You stand on something to take it. Of course, yeah, I'm into ducks. So that means that there's a slide down front with handholds and things for. So it'll work as a fume cupboard. You can extract from that. You can do PCBs there or whatever. So that's my suggestion for that space.
Good.
Awesome.
Pass that round.
Yeah. What do you need from the space to the rest? What do you need from the rest of the members to make that happen?
I'll draw it up and price it up, and then when it goes, I'd like some people to actually be there, nailing it together and working it through.
There seems to be less storage than there is now. But
there is. I think it needs some of the stuff that's stored in the existing grey cupboard can go into other places. There's glues in there.
Yeah, that was the other question.
Stinks to high hell and make it
There's about
go
4
away.
different kinds.
Oh.
Yeah, there's 4. There's like 9 different kinds.
Well, there seems to be so much now. It won't even. It's just sitting on the side. It won't even go in the cupboard.
Well, it probably would if the cupboard was tight.
The
Just that
foam and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just put that on the top so people know it's there. That's why the foam's there. But
everything's there.
Well, and the same with the West I put there as well, so people know it's there. But there is space in the cupboard, but it's so huge and deep.
Yeah, because we got another cupboard with paint and stuff in it.
Yeah, there's another cupboard over there. I'm not saying that's the final answer to storing all of the glues and adhesives and everything else.
Yeah, but does that work for the more sort of dodgy stuff?
But I was thinking that the one underneath for stuff that you wouldn't want to lift higher than your eyes, and the stuff at the top layer, I just drew it in there, and thought, well, that's a bit dangerous doing this, so I put one of the little step underneath to so you can get it off at eye level. But that's it's a not a real solution. Right, the storage proposal that I had last time. Partly this is about costing to get an okay to go ahead and spend some money. To prove that I don't do everything with the twiddly thing, I've actually done some SketchUp. What's it? I'm proposing a total of 7 modules around the place, with each of them are 800mm square. That's sort of 2 for 8, something like that. Square. They have feet at the bottom. They're 2.1 meters tall. Bits at the bottom so you can get the equivalent of a pallet truck underneath. I got rid of the yellow pallet truck because that was too big to do this job. But I've got an idea for something, a sort of caster frame that you can lift the whole thing up. So these can be moved about. So we're not actually fixing the layout downstairs. These could be moved to create a wall and divide the space up. They tuck into where the jacked up tables are at the moment.
You'd imagine them moving once a month or two when we read it on the move, not the end of the day pushing against.
No, they'd be in a place. But if you want to use the space a different way round, then
like
you can.
Cafe once every 3
Yeah.
months, you push it to one side and
Yeah.
bigger space. And
So
Yeah.
what would you use to move them?
A trolley underneath, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
I've been collecting various useful casters and been designing something where you stand on a couple of levers and the whole thing just jacks up an inch. And these are, and I've got a design for where apart from the shelf at that level, which is the same level as the tables, so that a heavy item coming out of one of these boxes, you can bring a table over to it and drag it out and then wheel the table away on the same trolley thing. And these are actually based on, I did a bounding box measurement session where I measured everything downstairs. I've got a whole list of bounding box sizes, and these are based on the bounding box sizes of the kit we have at the moment. But I've designed it so that they're quick and without tools. You can rearrange them. So you can put different shelves and build all these different shapes. It's just like Lego, really. So that's the first 4 boxes.
I should go work for IKEA.
You could build IKEA, it might be quicker.
What sort
Then,
of cost are they? What sort of
sorry?
cost are they? Have you costed these?
Oh yes, I have costed these. Those modules work out about 75 quid each for materials. It's mostly an MDF. There's 4 of those with the pigeonholes for tools. There's 7 modules altogether. Module number 5. Tom gave us some server rack rails, and I've gained some others as well.
do you need more?
I don't now, no. Yeah, I might do because they're quite. And this is for tool storage. So again, it's another 800 unit, same size unit, same movability, and the effect is that using both sides of each panel, you turn that 800 mil into 6.5 meters of shadow board space, using both sides all the way through. These are 200 wide. Sorry? And then the lower half is for consumables and fastenings and in little jars and bottles and plastic boxes and whatever they work into. It would have I've designed an interlock system so only one will open at a time. This is for illustration purposes only. And that'll be about 100 quid because it needs more materials because it's making all these walls. Another module which I haven't drawn, another module on a similar line, but with vertical spaces and with horizontal drawers as well, to draw all the smaller materials together. At the moment we've got a dustbin full of bins, we've got bits of wood stuck there. Anything that's too short to go on the big rack can be put into there on a similar sort of system with pull-out walls, pull-out storage that is put into it on end, and some drawers where you can put smaller stuff in.
So how long is it going to take you to make one of those? Because you essentially you're talking about making these, aren't you? So
the
raw materials and then
Yeah, once I reckon that the set of 7 is about a week's work, but it depends how many people come along to help. It's all drawn up into cutting lists, and it'll be all set up with machines that do all the things and turn it, nail the bits together. I've commissioned the pneumatic stapler down there, so it's cut this, put it in, bang, 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 bang. It's what I used to do, so
right,
I'm fairly confident.
Does this tool thing move as well?
You can move that around the same way, yeah.
Is it stable when all the things are open, or
they don't all come out though? I've got a system that interlocks,
okay, so
that you can only open one drawer at a time. I'm quite pleased with the design for that. It involves no Raspberry Pis and no lasers.
Yes.
It's all just.
The thing with that is how you know where that stuff is.
We'll need a packing list. We'll need
I've
pictures sitting on the side, but
that's where the A's and B's go on there and things.
A photo of the contents.
And I think at the moment you have to learn where stuff is downstairs. Now it's much easier to learn, and it can all be labelled outside.
Can you make the front of those units out of clear acrylic and put some lighting inside?
It could do, yeah. That's blue LEDs. That one's what was that? That was a that was about 100 quid too.
It was a question.
Yeah,
that was a suggestion. That was a state design, and this is a question.
Module number 6 is the one for the material storage, just to bring all that to one place. And the final module,
the minibar,
is one to hold 6 of those tables. The tables that I've got put downstairs, which collapse, I'm proposing 6 of those tables. I want to make them again, because those were thrown together and built by 13-year-olds. I want to make them so that they fit together more tightly, they pack more tightly, and they have captive bolts and so on. So that when's the next? That May. Yeah. Well, once with a go ahead, I'll go and make it start happening. The benches. My plot is to have benches and to add a shelf at the bottom to make the spacing underneath here so the same caster system works for moving them around. They're still flat packable, and they go into one of these modules with a variety of tops. And then the tops, I want to. At the moment they've got 2 bits of 4x2 on the bottom, but they have some of the tops will have a lift out section, so that you can, like the bandsaw in its storage space in the first lot of modules, you can take it out of there and just plonk it on the top of the bench, and it fits into the recess and is secure enough. The way it is at the moment, it drifts away backwards if you try and push too hard. So it takes that out, or you can just notice the little screw holes, or you can just screw it down if you don't want it in the middle of the bench. And so other tools will fit here. We can put a router table to make the whole of one of these tables into a router table. Make it do a table saw, but you use a skill saw underneath and create a table saw.
He's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Have you vetoed table saws? I'm scared shitless of table saws.
Yeah. But I think if I most fit with the radial arm will replace the table saw anyway. That's and the nice thing about the radial arm saw is it looks really scary.
It does look terrifying.
And it's inherently safe. It's so scary that you. That's one that's down there now. Yeah. So have a look now because I put the guard back on. It's much better. So the modified tables. Right, costing for this lot. Four pigeonhole thingies at 75 quid each is 300. One hand tools and fastenings pull out drawer thingy, 100 quid.
Do that again. You recording?
Yeah.
Take a photo of the thing.
One materials with the drawers and the pull out vertical. What's it? 100 quid again. A module to store the tables in 75, and 6 tables at about 30 quid each. And the total there is 755 for 7 modules and 6 tables.
You ever work in sales?
Well, yeah, I'm selling, making stuff. I used to sell Christmas.
Never had to make a profit. Would you need that up front in one lump? Or
No, not at all. I don't mind
you
finance.
tell him how he wants to get paid already. We haven't even
discussed terms.
And the
Is anyone have any objections? He's getting his wallet out.
No,
Look,
no,
it's empty. Fill it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Details, if you could just
Don't mind financing it, but you see, what I've got is a bus pass, and using a bus pass, I can go to B&Q and get an old Gits Diamond card, so I can lock 10% off that if I go and buy it on Wednesdays.
710 on there.
I don't. Seriously, yeah, that gives me 10% on Wednesdays. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So.
That's funny.
So,
I think it's
always some
awesome.
paper.
It's totally awesome.
So really, I'm just looking for an OK for the expense, and I've designed most of it.
These 3 people.
Well, no, but no, I'm going to give him money if you all tell me it's a dumb idea.
It's an awesome idea.
It's a
Give him
great
money.
idea.
It is brilliant.
Yeah, get your wallet out.
Awesome. Let's get it done.
And I'll post up. This weekend we're going to build this and that, and I'll make sure the stuff's there and the tooling's right. And
Ian, you're a legend.
yeah, it's. So I used to do work in theatre, and I used to work on exhibition and display stuff, where most of this was hacking stuff together at speed, because if you didn't get paid. You have to be there first nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if that's an okay, I'll make that happen over the next quarter.
Objections? Any suggestions for improvement? Exactly. Any other improvements apart from the acrylic LED?
These more LEDs and lasers.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have enough LEDs.
With the MDF, you're going to seal it.
I would like to paint the whole lot.
Okay.
Is that
The
extra paint?
I've got stacks of paint. I've just been the smell of solvent downstairs is because I went through my 20 years collection of paints. It took me 7 hours. Yeah, but anything you like. Get the art students in. Yeah. But the yeah, and
just Simon, get your daughter in.
the only other bit that isn't included there is my suggested basic toolkit boxes, so that you so we put together so you don't have to go and get one of those, just a grab bag with a a tape, a tape and a Stanley knife, and so that the basic stuff that you need really often. There's half a dozen of those kits around, so you can just take one. Yeah, they don't.
Is it worth?
Have you costed those up?
Well, they'll be just made out. They're just scrap, really. I haven't costed the toolkits.
That's what I mean.
None of this is costing of tools. I haven't started on that yet.
that's the big money round 2, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, go for the small scale up front.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it comes in nice isometric diagrams.
Is it worth you spending an hour with Simon with the toolboxes trying to figure out a way to laser cut those? Because we could probably laser cut one on that bed, just the pieces.
Have you ever looked on the webcam when Ian's here? The lights aren't on up here.
I know, but
He's allergic to the laser cutter.
as an
I'm-
open source project,
Oh, it would be a good thing.
that was a very good thing. Just to
Yeah.
give out a set of DXFs that you can
Oh,
just
would be good.
whack it on a cutter.
Yeah.
A set of DXFs and a bill of materials.
DXF
Build yourself a
toolbox.
toolkit.
Yeah.
Buy
Yeah.
these bits to stuff in it. There you
Yeah.
go.
One a giant laser cutter.
It'd be quite nice. It'd be nice to have feedback about what actually goes in the box. I did put that list up.
Bump it.
And yeah, I'll put it up
Bump
again.
it. Bump it. Always bump it.
Just to see whether it's. I'm sure there's stuff I've missed that people would like to have just handy in a first box, without it being stupid.
Yeah.
But it is. It is. I think we've mostly done it here. You know, pliers, screwdrivers, sharp knife, a measuring stick, and a junior hacksaw or something.
Couple of pencils, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, any suggestions for improvements or anything like that, please speak to Ian. If you guys are happy for him to go ahead and do stuff and purchase materials to start this project, I'll happily work with you and make sure that you're sorted out.
Okay. Cool.
What a finisher.
Any other business?
I have one small thing I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
It won't take 5 minutes.
Right.
I've spoken to Mike about this briefly as well, because Mike's doing his podcast thing, which is fantastic to get news about. But I'd like to start swamping YouTube with
Put some YouTube videos up.
rLab videos and stuff.
Yes.
What I've actually done is I have bought the rLab.tv domain,
Oh, cool.
so we can start putting together a YouTube channel.
Okay.
However, video is a lot more complicated than just audio. So if there is anybody that would like to help or get involved or do anything with that, shout.
I'm stoked to be on camera.
I can
Yeah.
help you.
Always
I can
stoked to
help
be
you
on
with the editing and stuff.
Yeah, it's just
Baking.
yeah.
That I can do.
I think one of the things we need is a decent set of lights.
I don't think we do. Everybody says, "Oh, you need decent lights," but actually, what you need to do is just start producing content and then get the stuff as you go.
Word.
Well, and if you do want, they've got good LED lights and various other bits of kit down at Grow, and that's available.
JFDI, I think, is the sentiment here. Let's just get some goddamn footage on the damn thing. Let's just get some pictures of
We can get it rolling and then improve as we go. I think.
If there was a camera here that was just like labelled as the pick this up and film it when you make something awesome camera, and you could just.
Well, my plan was to say to anybody, if you,
Everyone's got phones, haven't they?
yeah, I was going to say anybody, if you want me to come down with a camera and microphone and a couple of other bits, I'll quite happily sit with you and film it. It's just that way you're kind of producing the content. I'm just sat with a camera pointing at you, which
That's a very cool offer, Matt. Thank you.
makes a bit more sense.
Because that's the thing. When you're trying to do some work, it's really hard to also hold a camera, and it's really hard to have a camera in your hand when you're having a breakthrough. So when when you're really thinking about something, you're on a roll, you're making something cool, and it's like, yeah, getting on with it. You're not stopping to think, I should get a video of this. Often. So I think that's a really cool offer, and we should take advantage of that, please, Matt, and anybody else who can help.
Is that camera bracket still in the ceiling?
I have no idea. I don't even know, dude.
Yeah, when we changed the laser tube on the table, I melted the camera up there, and I don't think the bracket. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Because the handle slipped off the bracket, so we couldn't get it off. There's a bracket over there.
So yeah, that's very cool. I think we should do that. Please, more videos. We need more content on the website, more content on the wiki, more content on YouTube channels, Twitter, Facebook, all them things. Keep hitting them up. Let's do it. Nice work. Any other business?
And we were talking about what happened to Paul's mill.
That's what
Yes.
I was. Well, that's what I was going to talk about legally as well.
Please, anybody.
I think there's a lesson in it more than anything. For people who aren't aware, one of our members, left a piece of equipment in the space, and it was not properly tagged in any shape or form, and it accidentally got moved from the machine room downstairs onto the 3-week shelves.
We know the story of how we can trace back.
So I think really it boils back down to the rules in the wiki. People can leave stuff in the space, but if they're going to leave it, they really need to be made
on top of it.
They need to be on top. They need to make sure it's tagged, make sure it's clear, make sure that people understand that it's not scrap, it's not stuff that people should take to pieces. But sort of the other thing is, if you do have something and it's valuable, and you think maybe I won't leave it in the space, maybe people should just take stuff away occasionally.
if they're concerned about its safety, because things happen. It's a Hackspace and hacking happens.
That's
Could
it.
do with
It's
it's very
bunch of
unfortunate,
stickers.
but well, we do have some "Don't hack me" and "hack me" stickers. They are around
We
somewhere.
could do with some
Well, whose
places
is
where
this?
you could leave your project if you need to leave it here.
But we don't have the space for people to leave projects here for any period. I mean, again, if you're working on something over a short period of time, sure, you can leave it here overnight or something while you go away. But
Just
if you're going to leave
label
it for weeks,
That thing of Paul's
there's
had
no
been here
space.
for about 3 months.
Yeah, and it wasn't labelled at all.
No, it was just sat there.
And whenever I've left something here, even overnight, I've always made sure I put a bit of paper next to it that just says "Don't hack" and my email address next to it.
I mean, to clarify, it was a loan to the space. He considered it a tool in development rather than his personal project.
It should still have been labelled.
Well,
I think that's the
but
thing.
the laser cutter's not labelled. The Shape Oko is not labelled.
They should be labelled.
They should be.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit more obvious that the lasers are not to be hacked, but
even if it's just the rLab logo stickers, just for stuff that's properly not supposed to stay where it is.
Stick the logo on it.
We'd had this problem back in Woodley, and I did make a load of labels. So I don't know where they went.
They're somewhere.
They're in. I think they're in one of the drawers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't hack me.
Yeah, so it might just be worth hanging those up on a peg somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Actually, do you have any luck with labels for the 3-week shelf printer?
Oh, I've had plenty of bad luck in being shit and not buying an action item.
You have a
Okay, hang on. Sorry, what was that? What was that? I didn't quite.
Cashed in.
What's the
Buy,
latest we talking about?
buy pricing gun labels. Buy pricing gun labels.
And put Ryan's name next to that one.
And put my name next to that one. 'Cause I know where I bought the friggin' gun, so I'll go get the bullets for it. Same place.
That's an awesome idea, the pricing gun.
It's wicked, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, really good. I love it.
You sort of go around.
What are you going to put on it? Like the number of weeks?
It's alright, so you don't go around the Hackspace members.
We put the date that was put on, the date the items were put on the shelf. If they get stamped with that date, they go on the shelf. If it's after 3 weeks after that date, they get binned. Or shit canned, or Ian eats them, or whatever he does.
And the stuff in the fridge.
That's awesome.
The stuff in the fridge.
If stuff in the fridge
for
makes it
real.
3 weeks, we've got problems.
Yeah, well,
The shelves downstairs.
Yeah, date on the fridge fact off.
What?
Hang on.
Sorry.
What are now the 3-week shelves downstairs? Because there used to be a set of shelves that one side used to be 3-week shelves and the others didn't. Are they all now 3-week shelves?
Who are you looking at? Me? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've been treating the whole lot as 3-week shelves.
Right.
Right down to the floor.
But the stuff on the other side, the toilet side.
Toilet side is not. That's.
But maybe it should be. No, I think personally, I think that we need to be a lot more careful about the 3-week shelves. Not in the sense of this thing with Paul's mill, although that was an unfortunate incident and needs to be definitely considered and hopefully avoided in future because it sucked. We need to be more careful about the 3-week shelves and not see the Hackspace as a dumping ground for useless shit. We need to put a moratorium on, like London did, CRT monitors. You know, computers that only got AGP graphics card slots. You know, there is a list down there. We need to keep it real with that list. And if there's any other thing that we need to add to that list to make sure that it doesn't end up on the 3-week shelves, and it just goes diverts from the 3-week shelves and ends up straight in the wee bin, is write it on there. We'll put it on the wiki, whatever. But I think I don't want to start a recycling business. If I wanted to start a recycling business, we'd have been next door with the cleaners, right? No, this is we're a Hackspace. We need to make sure that the stuff that comes off the 3-week shelves gets gutted and comes up on these shelves as consumables, gets used for some project, gets taken pictures of, not ends up in people's houses.
That's not happening, is it?
It's not. Well, why not? Well, let's do it.
Well, it is, but not fast
It's just
enough.
too much stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot. I mean, I retrieve quite a lot of components and bits and pieces from stuff.
More of this.
But as Ian says, I mean, at the moment there's about 10 different PC cases down there, which I mean, they have some value to people, and so in some ways, maybe we should get together with people like the Silvers and things and see, because they've got a big area down at Jackson's Corner. They might be
need that
interested
sort
in.
of thing.
If
Then
they want
absolutely,
that stuff.
if they want it, they need to take it. I mean, but that's the thing. Nobody knows what's on there.
A lot of that stuff actually doesn't have much value. There's a lot of people are trying to get rid of old PCs.
That's the number one thing that I hear.
There are way too many PCs down there. Yeah, it's just spilled over.
Modern PC uses so much less power
It's not that. I mean, it's just the casing. I mean, people are still buying cases. I mean, you go to a PC World, and there's cases, computer cases there, and they're selling them at 30 quid a touch. Or Novatech have got them there, and people are doing them for gaming computers.
But that's very few people do that. Most people just buy a new PC out of a box, ready to go, and so they throw the old one out.
If you're building a PC from components, you're paying a premium.
And
Paying
you're
50 quid for a
doing it because
fancy
you
looking
want something.
case,
Yeah.
it's just a no-brainer.
And the people who are building PCs don't want the ones we've got downstairs.
And the thing about it is, right, I went through this cupboard and there was a stack. I mean, it was the Tower of Fail. It was literally, to the ceiling with computers.
Yeah.
And I plugged in each one with a Ubuntu boot CD that I knew worked, or a Ubuntu USB boot that I knew worked, plugged into a screen that I knew worked, and I went through every single one. Anything that worked is still in there. Anything that didn't work is downstairs. So, there's a reason that the shit's on the 3-week shelves.
Yeah.
So,
but
it's
some of those things, in my mind, why is it? Shelves, it's a broken computer.
If it's really broken, and you've taken out the components that are reusable, there aren't that many of them, to be honest. Shove the fans maybe. Just stick it in the e-waste and get rid of it.
Well, so where's the e-waste then? Do we need a separate e-waste to the 3-week shelves? Yeah.
I thought we said we'd put e-waste.
Then you'll attract people to bring waste.
Oh, we had a revelation with the recycling bin.
Yeah, there was a revelation with the recycling bin
3 months ago, just after the last meeting. So what we were told on the phone, Tom and I, by Reading Council, was bollocks.
I thought it might be.
Turned out, when the guys came to actually pick up the bin, they started taking photos of it and saying they were going to get us done for putting industrial waste in things we shouldn't be doing and so on.
I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah.
I heard it was wrong, but I didn't hear this picture taken in bullshit.
Tom was down here one day and he saw the guys coming to pick up the bins and they collared him, were like, what's all this shit? We can't take this. And that's why the recycle bin has been being collected. So Tom took all of the stuff out of it that wasn't supposed to go in there and took it off to the tip.
Right.
And
good Tom, thank you,
and
Tom.
now it's just recycling stuff going in there.
Yeah, which is right.
It turns out it's just recycling stuff like you can at home, which is a shame.
So
but it is also filling, which is good.
I was going to say, do we need a review of the size of the bins? Do we need to look at it?
I keep asking, but it seems like it's filling. I'm not here when they're picked up, but if anyone is and sees them, we can have a look.
What days are they picked up? Or when they feel like it?
When
approximately
the wind
every 2 to 3
blows
weeks
from the north and
when they can fit down here.
Jupiter is in Orion's belt or something.
Are we paying for a certain?
Can I make one request on the
pay for
PC
it to
cases
pick up
front?
every 2 weeks.
On the PC cases front, if any of them, some of the cases that we've had through have had acrylic panels on them, it's worth scrounging the acrylic off the panels because it's actually quite good acrylic on a lot of them. And
it's nice sort of scratch-proof coating on lots of it.
yeah, and it's worth keeping 3 or 4 of the panel doors from them because those flat steel panels can actually be quite useful now and again. But the panels will pack
like that,
tight.
I'm happy to just get it out of there and put it somewhere else. Hide the shit. Put it somewhere else.
How can we get rid of e-waste?
Tom found somewhere. He came and picked up a whole stack of stuff, old drives and things.
Is it worth us paying for a regular e-waste collection as a bit of a give back thing?
We would end up as a recycling centre.
I don't want to end up as a recycling facility.
It would be a
I want, for e-waste and stuff like that, I want anything that's I want to be the pull components off boards if they're useful, put them in the caps drawer, that sort of thing. Just get useful stuff, and the rest of the shit shouldn't end up here.
Yeah. So what do we do?
Well,
when it does end
at the
up,
moment, I
treating it
pull
as
the
an
e-waste. There's 2 bins of it down there at the moment, and I take it to the tip and put in the e-waste at the tip.
Right, okay.
So it does get e-waste.
Which is important because a lot
Where
of
are
it is
those
toxic.
bins? Which ones are they?
There are 2 plastic boxes on them under the.
Are they labeled? Do we need to have more labels on them? How do you
They
use
were
the
labelled.
pie?
I didn't know
we had an e-waste thing at all.
No, that's what I do to the 3-week shelves. So that's e-waste.
Encourage it in any way.
Yeah.
We need a procedure for it. We just don't want to advertise it as being a procedure for handling e-waste.
I guess that is the sort of the problem. Is if you say that we have a procedure for handling e-waste, all of a sudden we're going to end up with more e-waste. Is that the perception? Does anybody think that's real? Is that?
I don't think so.
Right. If someone at home has e-waste, they're just going to put it in the bin. I'm going to bring it down here. That's more work.
Well, but it's just as easy for them to take it to the Reading recycling tip as it is to bring it here. Quite honestly.
I hope they don't put it in the bin.
It's mostly people who think we can do something with it.
Yeah, I think
People
it's
donate
that.
it.
Yeah, they donate it here because they think it might be useful, and
It's
it's
in
not.
good faith, but not something.
This is why I
Yeah.
want that list of stuff that we really don't want to be kept up to date. And I've tried. I mean, I've said on the list that I don't want IDE hard drives. I've said I don't want anything to do with AGP graphics cards or computers that only have AGP graphics card slots. If it doesn't have,
So PCI is fine.
Big poster. Buy the 3
Well,
there's already a slot.
if it's saying it's old PC, we don't really
It's
want
a
old
little-
PCs.
There is a little poster.
Little poster that's kind of almost hard to see
Big
behind the
poster.
tower.
I
of the
noticed
waste.
that poster for the first time last week.
Because the
But
poster's
it's
telling
only-
you not to put
I think
PCs there. It's been
I think
covered
I-
up by a big stack of old PCs.
Yeah, I noticed
By
that
the person who
poster
made
was
the
there.
poster.
Yeah, I noticed that poster was there because I wondered what was behind the PC cases.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The problem with the poster is that it's a small A4 page. It's got, as far as I remember, no particular color. It's like
Yeah.
white with black text. The wall is white. You can barely see it.
All
It
right.
needs to have like massive red labels on
Especially
it.
that-
Do we need a
that
color
photo.
printer? Do we need an A3 color printer to work?
We do.
I mean, I can print
Vinyl
stuff in
cutter,
color if you
that's
need me to. I've got essentially free printing at the university.
Yeah, but that's
But that's
time and effort. Do we
I know.
have an A3 printer here that works?
Yeah, the one.
Does it?
It's
Sorry,
No, it's in there and it
The
works.
Epson works fine.
It definitely works.
as in, I can open my laptop and put paper in it and make stuff come out.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, just plug it into your laptop and it'll print.
Okay.
We had a
It's not out because it takes up space.
net
but-
print server thing on it, which never worked reliably, but the printer's always been fine.
Does it have USB?
Yes. If not, there's USB to parallel there.
Brilliant. Okay.
What I
That's
do
good,
have
yeah.
in my garage at the moment is a office working office scanner fax printer, not A3 though, A4.
Color?
We just got rid of one of those.
Color?
Colour.
Wow.
Epson.
Does it work?
Yes.
But we just
I've
got
only
rid of
got
two
rid of
years.
it because I am frustrated with the fact that where I have it in my study is a pain in the ass to put paper in the sheet feeder at the back for me, because I have to go round underneath shelves and things. But if it were on top of there where that one is, it would be fine. And it's a Wi-Fi based one, so you can connect to it from any machine.
Would it fit on top of there?
Yes.
Why is it?
But it's a
It's awesome.
inkjet,
You want
not
it?
a laser.
Brilliant.
An inkjet.
It's just an inkjet. It's not a laser.
Do we need a scanner?
Yes.
It's a scanner with a sheet feeder.
Yes.
as
I
well.
wanted a scanner the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a scanner. Good.
Ian has lovely drawings that we would like to publish.
Yes, I was going to say, I was going to either take photos of them or ask you if there was like any way I could get copies of them.
Yeah.
They should be with the
Like a
minutes.
scanner to print, yeah, except for real things.
So, or I could actually scan them
Like an
myself if I
illustrator,
can borrow them.
illustrator.
Whatever you
I'll
want to
bring
do
them
is best for you.
Right.
Bring them back and nail them to the wall.
Guys,
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
You don't need them?
I don't need them.
Okay.
Yeah.
thank you all
Next
for coming.
meeting.
Next meeting
Calendar?
is next
Oh,
quarter.
The
Well,
one
go
with
on,
the-
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Dare
One
I
more.
mention the vending machine?
Please, talk about the vending machine.
Because
Don't forget, we're running out of
yeah,
time.
yeah. Well,
That's a
I was working on the basis that it was MDB and it was going to be a straightforward interface and mostly it's software driven, and it turns out it's not. So I don't know if you, Richard, if you want to get into doing hardware or if you.
I don't mind building the hardware. I just don't want to get into the design, and I don't want to be in the middle of another project right now.
Yeah.
So if somebody tells me what hardware to build, I'll build it. But if people tell me to continue to build the wrong hardware, I'm not really very happy. So if somebody designs it, I will find a hardware solution and build it. But
Awesome.
Someone do the software if someone does the hardware.
It
So
is
now-
the thing is there needs to be a system design
So
because
now
there's they're not two different things.
It does also still have a 3-week clock on it. From
down-
2 weeks ago, I think, wasn't it?
Vending machine.
It's down to no one doing the hardware again because it's got a lot more.
no,
the
we're down to
hardware
no one
part
doing the
is-
design.
Wait. Hold on a second.
Is it worth having an evening next week or the week after and saying anybody who's interested in making the vending machine work,
And get Scott down here.
turn here, up here, there will be pizza and whatnot, and actually getting a group of people together to start talking about it.
Cheers, Mike.
Because if it's a system design that you need, then you need a hardware engineer and a software engineer in the same room to figure out what you need to do.
It needs a project manager to drive it through. It needs someone to drive it through. Just a collection of people ain't going to make it work.
No, a collection of people with someone grabbing it by the balls and sorting it out is what's needed. Because the thing is, there's two different parts of it. There's the software, there's the hardware, and they're brought together as a system. So we need someone to sort out the system level bit of it. I don't have time, right? And
I don't have time.
Richard doesn't have time.
What I'm saying is, if there is no one who's keen on doing the hardware,
Richard's,
then pretty much we're going nowhere with it.
We're saying there's nobody willing to do the system design.
The hardware is not the hole that needs to be filled, right? The hardware is a hole that's filled. Richard just said that he'll do the hardware so long as someone tells him wants to build, and he only has to do it once or twice, right? I'm saying or twice on behalf of Richard because I think it might need to be twice. Might go wrong the first time, whatever.
Well,
right?
Nigel's done one of the two possible types of hardware.
No, he hasn't.
Why not?
Because it won't work with that machine.
No, he did one that did.
No, he did the wrong side.
He did the
it's not difficult to do that side, don't get me wrong.
But
the hardware is not a problem. But if I build the other side of that, which I can, then... But then...
No, well, the problem is that won't do what we want it to do, basically.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you can categorically say that, then the only option for the hardware is to build it into the keypad.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if that's what you want, we can do that. It's not
what do you
difficult.
even intend to use it for once you've made it?
Yeah, that's the other question.
I still don't really... I've kind of stayed out of the whole debate on the groups.
It's a very big piece of machinery.
Yeah.
What are you going to put in it?
Yeah.
What are you going to stock it with?
Isn't it
How much is
fundamentally
it going to cost
with
us
the
to fill
principle
it?
of how hardware is consumed around here at the moment anyway?
Right. Okay.
Arduinos.
I got a
good
problem, right?
example.
I bought 10 Arduinos in China, I put them in the drawer, there ain't none left. I haven't... there's not been even a blog post or anything about
That's you purchasing Arduinos, right? So that could be Ben purchasing 10 Arduinos and bringing them in. Does that mean the Hackspace is going to sell them for Ben?
No, I'm not saying that the Hackspace should sell them for anybody, but what I'm saying is there is a problem when someone donates something like that that's valuable, and then the Hackspace ends up with nothing for it. I don't even care if the Hackspace got paid for a single one of them. But if we ended up with a blog post for one, it'd be nice. You know, if we ended up with, for the Raspberry Pis that were given to us by RS, you know, we haven't ended up with a blog post about the cameras.
How's a vending machine going to fix that?
Because
it'll stop people just taking them out willy-nilly. It'll stop people from taking them out at a whim. Because there's a drawer full of Raspberry Pis. If you can go, I need a Raspberry Pi, that'd be really cool for this project. Open, stuff it in, done. That's the end of it. Well, there's no pain of paying for that sort of thing. So I think it might
so
be
Raspberry
useful for that sort of
Pis and Arduinos.
and other things of high value that would be useful for the space to have
The
around.
canonical examples were reels of LED strip,
Which are quite expensive.
Totally, too.
Quite cups of spares.
Yeah.
My concern is that we'll end up with something that's sat close to a window, full of valuable goods, and it could make us a target.
I don't think that's going to make us a target any more than it
It's
is.
been sat there empty. People from outside, people don't know what's in it.
Yeah, they just assume it's full of coke.
You've got a mirror film in the window.
The other thing is, the other risk is that it's never used.
That's my concern. It's just going to take up space. I mean, if you're concerned that people aren't donating when they take an Arduino, that's a fundamentally different problem. That's nothing to do with making a vending machine. That's fixing a problem with the way people act with technology.
Yeah.
That's not the right way to approach something.
Well, a point of sale was an actual transaction as opposed to an honour system where I'll put it back next week if it doesn't work. Oh, I forgot, it's still on my desk at home or whatever.
Exactly.
That's a different problem.
More on the point, Ben. Have you ever done any project management stuff before?
For my own projects.
Because it's tricky.
It's tricky, but if you're willing to do it, I can give you some help on the project management side, but I can't run it.
It also is also very big in an area that we're continually trying to expand and find better ways to make better use of the spaces. Everything that we're talking about putting in there can fit in one of these drawers in a set of compartments.
Yeah, but it'll just get
Is that really a problem?
Yes.
What problem is it caused? I can see why it's upsetting that 10 Arduinos are problem they got.
10 Arduinos.
It's the rest of it as well. It's the 10 Arduinos, it's the 20 Raspberry Pi cameras, it's the 10 Raspberry Pis that were in there. There hasn't been a single repayment in any kind of currency that I can see for the Hackspace.
What it does,
Well, yeah,
that's cool, right?
7 on cameras, and I know that someone put 20 quid in it.
That's brilliant.
That's
The thing
how
is-
the 10.
Oh, and I nicked a Raspberry Pi camera by accident. So
It gives us a
I can either bring it back or pay, whichever's more convenient.
It's also worth having things like Arduino Pro Micros or something, or clones, because there's occasion when you're sat in here working on something, you think I could redo one of those. But
so where are they going to come from? Buy them from
the same way we stock drinks or anything like that.
We pop down to Costco.
There's more money. We're talking about 25 different units.
I'm not saying that it's a problem, right? So if we decide that's how we're going to do it, but what we're doing is making a decision there that we're going to start operating the shop.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but we need to decide we're going to do that, I think, before we build the mechanism that's going to deliver the thing.
Yeah, I think it's
that hasn't been discussed.
But why don't we want to have a shop?
That's what I'm saying. I don't actually have an objection to that specifically, but there's a whole logistics chain to discuss there.
Who's going to run the shop?
Exactly. Yeah, it's got to keep running. We've got to.
Someone else has their hand up for that, and they will be project manager.
Yeah. Well, where's Gavin? What's he thinking about?
He doesn't want it. He wants it out of there. It's his space, and he wants it gone.
I mean, there's 2 points here, right? Do we want to have stock of stuff for people to buy that's controlled by something like a vending machine? If the answer to that question is yes, cool, we crack it, right? If not, and we want the space that thing's occupying, then let's make the decision and get it the hell out of here. I'm easy either way. I've got,
There is a halfway house.
What's that?
We got the machine
chop saw
and effectively build a smaller unit.
So you mean to like sort of essentially you put it on a table kind of thing?
Just take the spirally
things and the motors
and fit them to a pie.
I suppose it's already been rebuilt, isn't it? Like the whole thing's been rebuilt anyway, as it is.
No. I mean, the thing is as it came.
But I know, like the electronics and stuff are all being replaced.
Well, not. The proposal was to use as much of the existing electronics as possible.
Certain coins still work.
Oh right.
Then it could be put back together and will work as it is.
Nice.
But we don't want to
you
do
see what I'm
It's
saying?
not very practical.
There is that halfway house of build an acrylic enclosure or an MDF enclosure.
Yeah,
It's a
for sure.
micropayment
But
system
the
integrated
point
from
is,
day
and I
one.
think the point is, it's happened, and it's partly my fault because I was the one that bought the goddamn vending machine, right? It's happened as about bollock. We've got this vending machine.
It was a solution before we had a problem.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that if that was an error, if that was a mistake, let's correct it. I'm happy to. It sucks. It's a lot of work, and it's going to be a bastard to get it out. But we can do it. It's okay.
Getting it up there.
5 millimeters bigger in any dimension, and it wouldn't have fit.
It's going to be easy getting out if you're just going to
That could be a lotto.
Well, you've taken a
We do have angle grinders and space underneath.
That fridge was out before it went up.
Okay.
We did that first. The very first
we
thing
got
was
upstairs in the laser quest first.
that was fucking ridiculous.
What was that?
Ryan, Ian, me, and Ian's son went to
mechanical
Laser
side.
Quest in Southampton to get
Do you think it
the
would
thing.
actually be
And had to
easier
take
just
it through the Laser
that was
Quest
funny.
while games
Oh my god, that was
from the front to the fire exit out the
We
back.
didn't have a back.
that was such a fun night.
Yeah.
Too much trouble doing what we're doing now and having
So
to rebuild it.
funny. Oh my god.
I don't know. It's been sat there for a long time. I'm personally not convinced it's ever really going to do anything much.
Let's see
Need somebody to come out of the woodwork with the enthusiasm.
Ben's got enthusiasm.
I'm enthusiastic to do the software side of it.
But why?
I need help
For
to do the
what
hardware
reason?
side.
Because it's interesting software to write,
Yeah.
which it is.
Well, how about?
But that's not enough reason, is it?
Well, that's where I was.
why
It's
is
enough
that?
reason to do it for a fun project. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But that's not the way anything is done. But then you did with it.
But if on the software side, if it's going to work, it's got to integrate with the micropayments thing. Does it do that directly, or does it do that? Will we have to build some other server within the Hackspace to do
That
it?
side is straightforward, I reckon.
Well, that's not
server
straightforward
side
because
it
Barnum
talks
does.
to, I've already written. There's only, it would be very easy to get it to work and to read cards and to raise whatever you need, invoices in Zero and
I mean,
debits on
we'll
Go
have the meeting, see how many people turn up,
But I think you've got to address the hardware, the software, and actually what it is that it's going to be doing. Well, I think it's just show of hands. Would anyone turn up? Because if the meeting's only Ben, he doesn't really need to go.
Well, another option is to replace the controller board in it with a newer one.
But that's the thing. Where I see that sitting is another solution to a problem that we don't know exists.
I mean, we know for a fact that you can get each motor to turn and to vend an item by pushing buttons on the front.
Yeah.
So we can put the buttons into a pie, and the pie can bend any of the rows whenever it wants.
And do everything in software.
It doesn't have to do anything else.
Okay.
When you say it could do that, do you mean it could do that?
If you've got some wires,
because
shove
right
them in the
now it's in
buttons
pieces,
and
isn't
put
it?
them in the pie. No, it's put together.
Oh,
and
it's back
working
together.
perfectly.
Right, okay.
So can you make that? Can you do that?
So what?
Well, if that is what is needed and that would end up with something useful, then we can do that bit of hardware.
It would end up with a vending machine.
It would end up with a vending machine controlled by a pie, but do we actually
Now,
want
what are you
that?
going to do with the vending machine?
Yeah.
That's the next step.
That's the question you've got to ask first, really.
That's it.
Because it might be that you need to take it home with you, because nobody else. It's an interesting project.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility? Do you think there is any other group or one of these things that maybe would the art people could use it to like sell art supply? You know, what we talked about. Is there another space we can go? We have a vending machine that we can give to you if you wanted, kind of thing.
It's probably going to be a white elephant for them as well.
Yeah, it could just be.
When you started talking about all the vending machine stuff, I had a look into distributor accounts with the likes of Adafruit and so on, and RS and all that, and it's all doable. You know, there's no reason why we couldn't do that here. But my concern is that it's finding the right stuff that would end up in there, making sure that it's stocked, being able to fulfil the minimum orders with the distributors to get it at a price worth doing it for, to bother putting the effort into doing it, and then someone to actually run that process and just keep it reconciled. It's a job. Yeah, it is a job. It's another job for someone.
I mean, but again, that doesn't really work because you can get the Arduinos off eBay cheaper than
exactly.
an
All it does is it gives you a now.
Why can't you just buy them off eBay and put them in the machine then?
Well, no, yes, you can happen tomorrow anyway.
Because when you're actually running a shop selling things, so that would end up being a thing selling 50 products. You don't want to be dealing with 50 different eBay people. You want consistency and ease of repeatability. That's why you do it like that.
So, but the idea isn't to run a shop; it's to.
Well, it is.
Sounds like it.
So in that case, if we want to do the convenient thing, in that case, it's probably worth trying to. Like maybe have a Google thing, just put together a short list of stuff that actually people think would be useful, and then if it's only 5 things, then like you said, either take it apart or just build a new vending machine that just does these 5 things. You know, have it just. We should probably custom build one that does that fits on the desk.
It's a lot more than just a shop. It's a showcase for stuff you make or design in space to give people the opportunity to show that off to other people in space.
But you mean
so
the thing itself?
Your quadcopter kits you could put in there, and it's like something people could buy.
Quite big, aren't they?
Probably wouldn't fit in there. That's the other thing. It is like Mars bar size.
The shelves are movable.
You can remove the boundaries between shelves with how you get both to vend at the same time. I'm not sure.
They all just plug in, don't they?
Yeah, they all just plug in.
I've seen them do that.
You can have a double height shelf.
That was my concern anyway.
I don't know that you can.
I can think of lots of things to do with it that are more than a shop, and it would be quite fun to.
Can you document those things and do
put a proposal together? Yeah, find someone to do it for you. Because if you're already doing the software side, then you just need someone to do whatever else it is to do. But from what Mallory described, it sounds like it's very close anyway.
The fuck is all this?
I think your laptop's flat. It's really sad about it.
It's a little upset.
Yeah, Ben, I think that's the best recommendation I can give you is put a proposal together for the whole thing from start to
go recruiting.
You know,
so it's not recruiting; it's whether it's worth keeping in the space.
Yeah,
that's it.
Keeping some space.
Sell the vending machine to
eventually get fixed.
That's it.
So do
Yeah,
that.
we can't. It's hard to show its worth until people can actually see it in use and see whether it's worthwhile.
Well, no, that's not true.
One of
Because
those boards. If it's trivial to make the buttons then, why don't we just do that and then we can see whether it's being used or not?
What Ben's saying is why don't we run it for do the Pi thing, if that's only going to take an evening or whatever, to put the hardware together into it, to push the buttons, and then run it for 6 months and see what happens.
proof of concept. A proof of concept phase in a project is reasonable. That's fine. That's done. What you need to do is
Okay, that is the proposal.
There you go.
6 months, see if it works.
6 months. Fine. I mean, if that's cool with everybody, yeah.
Well, that's the proposal.
Yeah, but then we put a thing in that you say in the proposal, if this has not been used within this 6 months and has not taken off or anything, then it gets stripped apart and binned, or we pass it on to someone else, or whatever.
But can we do this before we build this micropayment system that can?
Well, we could start. We could take cash.
But look,
you could
we already
order on
take
the
cash.
web
It's no
or
different
on
to
a Android app or whatever.
Well, that's more
that
work.
part is straightforward.
That's the bit that Ben's happy to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Fine. So, if you were given a Pi with some Python modules that you could feed a number through 1 to 25 and it vended that thing, that's all you need.
That's me happy.
Matrix,
That's me happy.
rolling columns, that's software.
Yeah.
So what do you need?
He needs a Pi.
I need it to
Sounds like you need a Pi.
I want to say.
It sounds like it does
this.
that.
Yeah, but what he needs is he doesn't have the
At the moment it's
know-how on the
buttons.
electrical side to interface the Pi,
Yeah.
kind of wiring.
At the moment it's rows and columns,
Yeah.
so you've got to tell it which two to hit the button. You'll
I
have to
also
write
need
that
the
software.
cache mechanism interface to say vend.
Well, no, you
Well,
wouldn't
I
have
do.
to.
You'd have to write that.
You do that.
That would have to be done.
If you want that, you can't have the keyboard.
You can have the keyboard,
No, no,
because the keyboard
no,
can
because-
still do that, but you wouldn't need to. The keyboard can vend
It's the
without,
cache mechanism that tells
There
it
you go,
you've
Drew.
paid.
but the keyboard can tell it to vend without
That's what you're going to do then.
hey
Then
guys,
people can walk up and press the button.
Manyan.
No, because the buttons
Oh, we're
are
just
talking
going to
to
put
the
it into
car.
free vend mode and just vend.
The physical button
Doesn't have the same parameters.
go to the car.
I think it's
Hey guys.
The buttons that the machine says.
Manana.
Please organize an evening to hack the vending machine. Let's do it. I think it's a cool idea. I wouldn't have got the vending machine if I didn't think it was a cool idea. But we are facing pressures from other people to clear out space, and I understand that. So let's get a meeting happening, get an interface built, build a proof of concept, and see how it goes. But it needs to happen soon. Okay?
It's not to be then that it needs to be shown that it's at
Yeah.
least fun.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Cool. So have some fun with it, right? But listen, the next meeting will be announced on the mailing list. Thank you all for coming. Really constructive. Really, really awesome.
And I have a huge.
Huge
I
minutes.
will try and write.
Oh.
Yeah, they're huge in several ways. So I'll try and write them as soon as possible.
When are you down next?
Right here. Probably on Saturday, but
Okay. Saturday I'll see you here. Yeah. Bring my wiki account. We can do the thing.
okay.
If you can step right in
Bicycles
there.
in
No, I'm happy. I'm actually writing as such. I'm not going to write in minutes. It's just I'm going to be tomorrow. I'm going to be busy.
Have you not read the
If
BBC
at some point
article
during
on
the next month it goes on
the
wiki,
Russian
that's
art
awesome.
of
I would just say
being
yeah, like possibly
Shannon
start
Rise?
next week. Yeah.
very simply